And we're live a little bit early, so I'm gonna give it just a sec, but I want to get you caught up real quick with what we're about to watch. So in 2010, January 2010, what are you doing? You want to come say hi and then you're out of here? All right, say hi.
Hi.
Tell them you're looking cute today, girl. What you looking all cute for?
The person who coming over. And question is it a boy or a girl?
Who's coming over?
Yeah, like is it a boy or a girl?
It's a girl. All right, get out of here.
Did you finish this all out, or are you doing something different?
What was I saying? Oh, 2010. I'm going to read this quick article to you. Steve Henson has been sentenced to 29 years. Henson has been sentenced to 29 years plus 5 years of mandatory parole in a plea deal for the murder of Levi Ortivez in January 2010. Police say on January 22nd, 2010, family members of 42-year-old Levi of Colorado Springs reported him missing and said they were worried about him. Several interviews led investigators to search a home in the east central area of Colorado Springs on February 10th. Evidence found at the home was suspicious enough for detectives to believe a crime had occurred there. Stephen Henson, 34, of Colorado Springs, was then arrested and charged with second-degree murder based on the information from the investigation. Detectives searched the wooded area off of Gold Camp Road, roughly 15 miles east of Victor, on February 11th. It was there that they recovered the body of an adult male that they believed to be Levi. The El Paso County Coroner's Office autopsy results show the cause of death has been determined as blunt force trauma. Henson took a plea deal on charges of second-degree murder. He was sentenced Friday to 29 years plus 5 years of mandatory parole. Now, this article was written on April 8th, 2011. So a year plus goes by, right? Now, listen, Coyte Holbert, 39, was also arrested in February 2010 on charges of accessory to second-degree murder and tampering with evidence. According to court documents, though, those charges were all dismissed March 2011. All right? So, Steve, we listened to his interview last night and also his girlfriend's interview, Kimberly. Stephen gave an interview on February 10th, 2010. That interview yesterday was from 2010. So this was the day that they did all those interviews that they're talking about in this article. You're listening to those interviews. The interview you're about to hear is Coyte Holbert's. Come on in. Come in. I'm live though, so I just letting you know that Coyte's interview was done on February 10th as well, his interview's done on March of. Let me tell you where this interview. I got this one down. His interview was done 10/13/10, so November 13th, 2010, and so that's what you're about to hear. We're going to start this junk and get this go right now. And I just had people show up.
But I always wondered if it's too close to
Where are you at now?
C1.
C1?
Yeah. C2 was all right, but the kid I got in a fight with, I guess they decided to put him over there instead of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wrote him and asked him. They said, well, we feel that you belong over here. That's all right. That's all right. 3 hours a day is plenty enough to go out there and play some cards.
Much better. I thought Delta was better than Charlie.
I don't know, man. You can spend more money on commissary, but
Oh.
you put me out with 70 people every day and there's going to be a fight. That's all. I can't deal with it.
Okay. I'll do this just for formality reasons.
Sure.
I'm Detective Graham with the Colorado Springs Police Department. Gail Workington, the district attorney, wanted me to make sure that I talk to you about the letter of agreement and all that.
No.
Have you guys had an opportunity to go through
We
that?
have.
Have you had a chance to go through that as well?
Yes.
Have any issues or any problems with anything in the letter?
The only other issue I have that any statements, given here today are pursuant to Rule 410 are part of the negotiation, the process and everything like that.
Okay, they can't be used against him.
Yeah, they've obviously, if everything doesn't go through his deal, they couldn't be used against him unless he testified
Right.
inconsistent with what he said here today. But they couldn't be used in the case in chief against him
Okay.
if things fell through.
And I don't think Gail has any problems with that.
And I think that's what we talked about
Right.
before.
Okay. Any other issues or any other
No,
concerns? Mr. Holbert, anything?
No.
I think what I'll do is we're just going to sort of start off with that particular day. I want to talk a little bit about what happened earlier in the day before what happened that night. Do you remember what you were doing earlier in the afternoon?
Man, I picked up this girl, and I couldn't tell you her name now. I picked her up at a bar, and we were tripping around. I was trying to get laid.
Do you remember what bar you picked her up at?
Yeah, it was at that Roadhouse 24 down there, or Calamity Jane's is what we always knew it as.
Right.
She wasn't in that bar. She was just like hanging out down there, and she may well have been working. You know what I'm saying? She might have been working the street. I don't know.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? She might have been a whore. I mean, I have no idea. But I picked her up, and we tooled around, and I was just looking for something to do, somewhere to go. At the time, I was staying at my grandmother's house, so I didn't have any place to take her. At some point while I was running around with her,
What were you driving back at
I was driving that Jeep,
the Jeep? Okay.
the Grand Cherokee.
Do you remember what time you picked her up in the afternoon?
It was the early afternoon. I'd
Okay.
say 3 or 4. And at some point, Kim Stevens called me up and asked me if I wanted to come by there and shoot some darts. And I said, sure, because we didn't have anywhere to go.
Do you remember what your cell phone number was back then?
Man, I've been through like 3 phones since then. After this incident, that phone was gone immediately. It was the first thing I did was got rid of that phone. It was a cricket phone, and it
Okay.
wasn't listed under my name.
Whose name was it listed under?
It was listed under an illegal alien's name, Jose something. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't honestly tell you. I could tell you the cricket store I got it at.
Where'd you get it at?
It was on Murray and not Galley, but Palmer. Is it Palmer? Maybe it is Galley. Murray and Galley.
At the cricket store there?
Yeah.
And you got it under, somebody get it for you, or you got it and used somebody else's name?
I got it and used somebody else's name. In fact, I didn't actively give them a different name. The phone just came up under somebody else's name. I was getting calls for this guy. And when I called people, it'd come up on the caller ID as like Jose something.
Okay.
And Jose, I say Jose, but it may not have been Jose. It was some obviously Hispanic name that was not, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
American.
So Kimmy called you.
She called me, and I drank with Kimmy. I had a girlfriend before that ended up killing herself in the county jail. I started sleeping with Kimmy's daughter. That's how I met Kimmy. They lived above me over off Straw Street. And I'd been drinking with Kimmy since then. You know what I'm saying? Just off and on, whatever.
Right.
And she called me up and said, hey, we're having a get together over here. You want to come by and drink some schnapps and throw some darts? And like I say, I was just kind of tooling around.
How long have you known Kimmy?
I've known her in person since right after I got out of the halfway house, which was the end of April of 2009. I mean, she was my upstairs neighbor.
Okay.
But I had met her before that. Like I had known her personally, you know what I'm saying, when I moved over there.
Right.
But she was dating people that were in that halfway house.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'd met her on different occasions.
All right.
It's a small world, bunch of convicts.
Right.
And so I'd known her since then. Like I'd known her personally. Like I'd been in her home when the police came and raided it once before that on Straw Street.
Okay.
We went over to that house on St. Vrain, me and that girl, and we were there for several hours. I don't know, 3 or 4 hours.
When you got to the house, who was all there that you remember?
There was some guy named Smiley there, and I don't know his real name. He's real greasy. He looked like a fucking hobo, somebody from under the bridge. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss at you. But pretty sleazy kind of looking person,
Okay.
somebody who didn't belong in a home. You know what I mean? Kim's daughter was there.
Do you remember her name?
Yeah, Kayla.
Kayla? Okay.
She was there. Kim was there. Steve Henson was there. And I want to say there was other people around that I didn't know, dope fiends, and a lot of them, I don't have a lot of patience with people who are all whacked out on drugs like that. And a lot of those people that floated around Kim and them, I didn't really, if I walk into a room and there's somebody all high on drugs, I got no interest in meeting them. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So there was a couple other people floating in and out. I don't know. They were doing a lot of shit in the back room. I would assume drug dealings. They were getting high. Obviously, people were high. And there was a bottle of schnapps. So I parked it in the living room, started throwing darts with Steve, and we were drinking schnapps.
How long have you known Steve?
That was probably the third time I'd met Steve. Was then in that house. And I'd known him since Kim had been with him. You know what I'm saying?
Who introduced you to Steve?
Kim
Kim
Stevens did.
Okay.
Stevens. Yeah. She introduced me to him. I want to say the first time I met him was at that Roadhouse 24 at Calamity Jane's right there.
Right.
And I drank with him on another occasion. And I want to say that it was at George's Lounge. It was over on my side of town. Or not George's Lounge, Jim's Lounge over off Peterson and Palmer Park.
Right.
That's a bar I sit in pretty frequently. And he may have been around on other occasions, but she went through a lot of boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? Kim Stevens did.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just one of them. He was the most recent one. He wasn't somebody that I'd ever known outside of her, really. Anyway, we drank for a while. We played darts. And at some point, that guy, Levi, whatever it is, or Ortivez or whatever, he showed up.
Have you ever met him before?
I'd never met him before. Never seen him before. Never seen him around. Nothing.
What time is it, do you think? When he left?
It was dark by then.
Okay.
And by then, I had left and bought a bottle of whiskey and some more beer and come back. And at that point, the girl that I was with, it wasn't going anywhere. And I was already moving on. You know what I'm saying? I was talking, and there are other people who come in and out. Other women had come. I talked to a couple different women, but I was already, you know what I'm saying? I was no longer pursuing the woman that I was with.
Right.
But he came and it was pretty friendly. You know what I'm saying? The guy, Ortivez. And he was drinking with us, throwing darts. They were going in the back room, getting high.
When he first got there, how did he get into the house? Do you remember?
Yeah, he just came in. They let him in.
They just
He
let
come
him.
and
Do you
knocked
remember
on the
who
door.
let him in?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Who was it? Your impression? Who did he know there at the house?
He knew Kim and he knew Steve.
What do you say that? How do you know that?
Because Steve shook his hand and Kim said hello. They went straight in the back room and got high or whatever. They were friendly. These weren't strangers meeting each other. They knew each other enough to go sit in that back room together.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
He started drinking, but he was a little guy. He was getting drunk quick. But he was friendly, man. It was cool. We were playing darts and everything was good. The guy started kind of getting mouthy in the back at some point, and
Who's he?
Levi Ortivez.
Okay. Who was he getting mouthy with?
I'm not sure because, like I said, I wasn't in the back room, but the door was open and I could hear him kind of arguing a little bit. And at one point, Kim had called me. You know what I'm saying? And I walked back there and I asked him what was up. Everybody got quiet when I walked back there.
Kim called you how?
She's like, "Hey, Cody, come here a minute."
Okay.
And it was after they were getting loud. You know what I'm saying? And I walked back there and everybody got quiet. I said, "Is there a problem or what?"
When you went back in the bedroom, who was back there?
Steve and Kim and Levi. I want to say that guy Smiley, the guy that looked like a bum, was back there too. And at that point, I mean, obviously they're smoking meth. There's pipes out. I didn't see any meth out on the table or anything, but they definitely had a pipe and the room smelled like it. And I don't know if it was Smiley getting loud or Levi, or I don't know who was getting loud. Kim called me back there. As soon as I got back there, it got quiet. I asked them if there was any problems. They said no. They asked me if I wanted to smoke some meth with them. I said no. I went back out in the living room.
Who's in the living room with you at that time?
The girl that I came with was still there. I want to say that Kayla was out there. And maybe George Garnhart might have been there. And he had some girl with him too, maybe at that point. They'd showed up later. They were out stealing stuff or something. I don't know, but they were there. And I want to say other people were coming in the back through that glass door.
Right.
And people were coming and going, pretty frequently. They did whatever they did in the back for a while. Several hours passed, and people came out of the back. Everybody threw darts. Levi Ortivez threw darts. Everybody threw darts. Everybody that was drinking for the most part. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of people coming and going. They went back into the room again at some point later.
When you say they, who went back in the room?
Steve and Levi and Kim.
Okay.
And someone else may have been with them back there. I wasn't in that room with them. I don't know exactly what was going on. But after a while, they came out. Henson and Ortivez came out of that room. And Steve said to me, "Come on outside with me." I said, "All right. Whatever's clever."
Now, when they went back in there the second time and they were back there, did you hear any problems or any?
The door was closed. I don't know what went on. There was tension, but it wasn't open hostility when they came out. You understand what I'm saying?
How would you describe that to me?
It's hard for me to describe it. It's like, I've been in a lot of environments that are real violent. You know what I'm saying? Like prison and stuff. I've been around a lot of real violent people. And there's a difference when somebody's out of control, angry, getting ready to commit an act of violence again, like getting ready to brawl or whatever. And when there's just tension, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody stole something or somebody said something out of line, but not like somebody calls you a bitch and you got to get down right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
And when they came out, there was tension. But
Between?
I don't know. It was just tension. At first, I kind of thought it was me. You know what I mean? But I couldn't read it. I couldn't tell if it was just tension. Obviously something's wrong, but and like I say, at first I thought it was me. I thought, "What's up?" You know what I'm saying? Steve's like, "You want to come out back with me?" I said, "Sure. What's up?" If we're going to get down and box, then let's get down and box or whatever, I was pretty buzzed. And I said, "Just a minute, let me hit this bottle again." Well, by the time I hit the bottle, they're already out on the porch. So obviously it's not me. You know what I mean? I follow them out and they're down the steps and across the yard, right? It's pretty dark by now. It's later in the evening. And by the time I got to the bottom of the steps, they're standing side by side across the alley. And there was like some chicken wire or some kind of low piece of fencing in the back that I stepped over to get in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And as I stepped over it, Henson hit that dude in the stomach. You know what I'm saying? Bam. Hit Levi Ortivez in the gut. And when he went down like that, he hit him in the face. And he attacked him. It was fierce.
Why don't you describe that? Talk about that.
Well, like I say, it was fierce. After he hit him in the stomach, he hit him in the face. Levi went down on the ground, and Henson put the boots to him. He kicked him several times that I saw, and he got down on top of him. I don't know, he punched him a couple times, maybe 90 seconds, maybe 80 seconds. It was prolonged. It was fierce. You know what I'm saying? And I've been around a lot of violence. Like I say, it was plenty enough time. And I cleared the fence and I just stood on my side of the alley. Obviously, it's not me. I looked around because that's what you do. It's hard to describe to people who haven't been to prison and stuff, but you run tech.
Right.
And I would assume at this point that that's why I'm there, because he wanted to get down with this guy and he wanted me to make sure nobody else was interfering. When I looked around, the only person I could see, and I don't know if she watched the whole thing or not, was Kim Stevens. There's a bedroom window that overlooks that alley. And I'm not 100% sure it was her standing in it, but there was a woman standing in that window looking down on the alley.
Okay.
After he kicked him several times, he stopped. He looked at me and said, "What's up?" And I said, "What's up? I don't know, man. There ain't nobody around. You know what's up?" He said, "What should we do? I think he's dead." I said, "I don't think he's dead. You know, I mean, I've seen dead people. He didn't look dead to me. He wasn't relaxed. He was still, I mean, he wasn't conscious, but he was still tense. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like when people get beat to death, once it's done, they stop moving.
Right.
You know, they relax.
Is Levi still moving?
Not right then. He wasn't moving. Okay. At that point, he was tense. He was unconscious, but I couldn't see him breathing or anything. You know, Henson asked me what I thought should go on. You know, what should we do? I said, "I don't know. It's not my beef." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He just attacked somebody pretty brutally in front of me, and he's a big guy. I wasn't, you know, I still wasn't sure what the situation was. He said, "Well, what should we do with him?" I said, "Just dump him at the hospital, you know, dump him close to the hospital and hit a payphone. I mean, I'll leave him there, go back inside and drink. I don't fucking know." He says, "Well, you want to give me a ride?" I said, "I could do that." And I walked over and looked at Levi, you know what I'm saying, at that point, and there was a lot of blood. He was bleeding heavily from his face. You know what I'm saying? Significant amount of bleeding. And it was still flowing freely. Still, he wasn't moving, but he was relaxed. He wasn't, I don't know how to describe it. He wasn't relaxed like somebody who's dead, right?
Right.
So I said, "Okay, well, I'll pull my Jeep around, you know, and we'll get him out of here." And I said, "We'll just dump him close to Memorial. It's down the road. You know, you can hit a payphone, whatever." I said, "I'm not going in the parking lot, though. I'm on parole. I can't have, you know what I'm saying? I know that there's surveillance in the parking lots. I can't go have any part of that." So he says, "All right." I said, "But you're going to have to get a blanket or something because I don't want this guy bleeding all over my Jeep." So I pull my Jeep. I go out through the house. When I walked in the house, Kim asked me what happened. I said, "I don't know. We're going to take this dude to the hospital." You know, I went out, got in my Jeep, and I pulled around the block. When I backed out of that driveway, the long driveway that leads into the house, I backed out and I went left around the block.
So did you go east or west?
If I'm facing down that long driveway,
If you're
and I'm
facing
facing
that
that
line, you're going
house,
south. If you're
If
back
I'm backing out. But when I'm facing the house,
Okay.
down that driveway, which way am I facing?
facing north,
North. I went west. When I backed out, I went to
back
my
down, you
left.
went, and then took off.
I did.
Okay, so you went back toward Union. If you went all the way down St. Vrain, you'd run into Union eventually.
Yeah, past those apartments and everything
Right.
down there. I went that way. I pulled around the block. I came down the block. I didn't see anybody out there but Henson. When I pulled up on Henson, he was standing next to Levi. And Levi had been moved because he was kind of like on the dirt part of the driveway, you know what I'm saying? He'd been moved farther over, like so that I could pull up,
Right.
you know? And Henson's standing there with a fucking roll of plastic bags. Like little plastic bags for the fucking trash can. You know, like little 20-gallon bags or 30.
Right.
He's got a roll of fucking plastic bags. I said, "Wait." He said, "Well, this is what Kim gave me." I said, "Well, I can't cover my seats with that." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why that sticks out in my mind. He brought those plastic bags too, but he went back in and got a blanket. Right? We put the blanket in the car, and then Steve put Levi in the car. And then
Where'd you put the blanket in the car?
in the back seat.
Okay.
And like I said, so I was facing down the alley from the way I came. We put him in the car, and then we pulled out
When you put him in the car, where'd you put him at?
in the back seat.
In the back seat. Who actually put him in the car?
Henson put him in the car.
Did you help him at all?
No, I didn't never touch Levi. I didn't never put my hands on him.
Okay.
He put him in the car, and he went back in the house. I don't know what he did. Talked to Kim maybe. It was just for a minute. He came back out, and we went to pulling down the alley.
Where's this unknown girl at?
She left with Kim. Okay, when I went back in, when I went to get the Jeep, I told Kim at that point to get that girl out of here. I said, "Just take her." I gave her $20 and said, "Put her in a cab or something, walk her down the street. I'm not driving her anywhere." And Kim knew why. Because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want that girl to see that, go flipping out and call the cops. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Kim took her. Kim walked with her. She left. In fact, when we left driving out of the alley, we went past them. Both of them were walking on the street, the same direction that we went, like wherever is it Boulder that alley empties into?
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever it was, we went up and then we couldn't get across. You know what I'm saying? But we went past them, and when we got past them, then Levi started making noise. He was in the back, and it was like gurgling. You know what I'm saying? And I told Henson, I said, you're going to have to turn him on his side, bud.
Where's Henson at now?
Henson's in the passenger seat.
Front passenger seat.
Front
Yeah,
passenger
you're
seat with me.
driving.
I'm driving.
Levi's in the back seat.
And he's making labored breathing sounds.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's dangerous to leave people on their backs, man, when they're drunk or when they're bleeding, anything like that. You know, you got to turn them on their side. And that's what I said to him. I said, you got to turn him on his side if we're going to get him.
Where were we planning on going at that point?
We're going to go to Memorial Hospital. And at that point, he said, I got this. And then he said, we're not going anywhere but the woods. And he leaned back between the seats. He leaned back on Ortivez. I looked back and I couldn't tell if he was just putting pressure on his chest or if he had his hands on his neck. But he leaned on him for, I don't know, a minute and a half. When he was done leaning on him, the guy wasn't making any noise anymore. Henson told me that we were going up to the woods and asked me if I knew about a road behind the zoo. I told him that I did. He said that's where we were going. And I drove him that direction. I don't remember the exact route we took, but Levi never made any more noise after that point. Henson had a kitchen knife with him. He never threatened me with it or anything, but he had it on his person. And at that point, he told me that he cut Levi's throat. I mean, obviously he didn't. I found out later, but he told me that. And I don't know when he was supposed to have done that.
Backing up a little bit, did you ever see Henson using any kind of objects or weapons to assault him?
Just his feet and his hands. I never saw him hit him with anything. I thought, okay, when I said that he hit him in the stomach, my perception of that, see, once we're driving up there, Henson had told me that he stabbed the guy and that he cut his throat. When he hit him in the stomach, the way that Levi had reacted to that initial hit was so drastic. I thought that he'd stab him. You know, I thought he'd stab him in the gut. So until I was in court, and actually Josh told me that, you know, he'd never been stabbed, I was under the impression that he'd been stabbed. But like I say, I'd never interacted directly with.
How far away are you when you are watching Henson?
The width of that alley, and maybe I'd call it across the alley and 5 feet that way, 17 feet, not far.
Anything blocking your view?
Nothing blocking my view, but it's
Dark
dark.
in the
It's
alley.
backlit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But nothing was blocking my view. But the knife that Henson had in the car, it was like a steak knife. You know what I'm saying? And I seen stabbings too. I seen them go down in the joint. And if somebody's working on getting you with a knife, they keep it concealed. I mean, he hit him in the gut, and the guy just crumpled. You know, and I thought he stuck him. You know, after he said it to me, the way that Levi responded to that initial hit, you know, I mean, I believed him. I didn't.
Okay.
If you hit me in the gut like that, I wouldn't crumple like that. I'd fight back.
Right.
So after he asked me about if I knew the road or not, I said, yeah, it's Old Stage. I said, there's a reservoir up there. You know, I know where it's at. I can get you there. He said, well, let's go there. I said, all right, you know, and at that point, in for a penny, in for a pound, man, what am I going to do? You know, I mean, people can judge me however they want or say what they want, but I mean, I'm hit now. I know that. You know, I mean, what can I do? So we drove up there, and we went for a long ways up that road, further than I wanted to go. There wasn't the gas to be going that far up the road anyway. But we went a ways, and several times I tried to stop and was like, dude, just dump him. You know, I mean, if you're going to get rid of him, then just get rid of him. Henson still had that knife, and he was acting sketchy. But in the car, it would have been an issue. But out in the open, I wasn't too worried about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He was pretty lit, and I carry a knife too. And I've been in knife fights before. I wasn't scared for my life. Like, I couldn't have got out and, you know, but in the car, it would have been an issue. I was driving. And he was pretty insistent that we keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we went and went and went and went. And finally, I was like, man, we just have to pull over because we're not going to have gas to get back. We pull over on the side of the road. There's a thicket. It went off pretty steep down. And he said, "You're going to give me a hand?" And I said, "Fuck no. I got no interest. But it's, you know, it's your deal. You do what you do. I don't, you know, I mean, whatever. I got nothing against Henson, but he's not one of my boys. I don't know him like that. I'm not, you know."
Mhm.
So he insists that I get out of the car. So I get out, and he pulls Ortivez out on the passenger side, okay? And he cuts his clothes off with the steak knife that he's got. He tells me to throw the clothes in the back of the Jeep. So I did that, and he drug him off down behind this like copse of trees. Man, there was a lot of blood still. The dude might have still been alive because he was still bleeding. You know what I'm saying? There was
Did
a lot of.
Did you see anything other than him bleeding? Anything other signs of life?
I never saw any signs of life, man. Just the blood coming. It was coming out of his face. You know what I'm saying? The last signs of life I saw were in town when he was breathing like that, and it was labored breathing. I mean,
Just that.
yeah, and gurgling
Right.
real heavy. You know, I mean, like bad way. Maybe not coming back kind of breathing. You know, I mean, and I heard it before. I'm not just saying this out of the blue.
Right, I know.
And he drug him down the trees. He wasn't down there very long. It was with a quickness. He came back, and when he got back, he wiped his hands off on the snow. I said, "Are we going or what?" And he said, "Yeah." We started driving out, and I said, "You know, what are you going to do with this stuff
The clothes and stuff.
and the blankets? You know, what are you going to do with it?" And he had blood on him too. You know what I'm saying? Like on him, and his shoes were bloody as fuck. But he said, "Well, burn it." I said, "All right." So I just pulled over at the next spot. I said, "Let's burn it now. Let's get this done with. You know, if that's what we're going to do." And he said, "I'm going to burn my shoes too." And he was trying to start a fire and it's wet. You know what I'm saying? It's snow everywhere. Ain't nothing burning. All the clothes and everything are all soaked in blood. Nothing. So he's all, we got to burn it. Finally, he gets the blanket going, and he's using my lighter, and I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm stressed, like bad at this point, you know. Finally, it starts going just a little bit, you know, and I said, "Fuck it, man. Let's just go. I don't care." And he took the passenger side mat, the one that he was standing on in the Jeep, you know what I'm saying, the front passenger mat,
Right.
and he put it on there, and it started burning. So once the plastic was burning, I said, "Let's just go." And the plastic bags too, that roll of plastic bags that I said he brought originally, they were up there too. And he threw that knife on the fire. I don't know what the hell he was thinking about that, but so he says, "I'm going to burn my shoes." I said, "Whatever, let's just go." And like I say, it's the middle of the night. You know, we just done some stupid shit, stuff that I shouldn't have been involved in the first place. I was real sketched out at this point. I mean, once he got out of the car and Ortivez was gone, it really started, for me, it started setting in, you know.
Right.
And I didn't know what was up with Henson, where his mind was at. I mean, you done killed somebody now. I'm the only witness. You know what I'm saying? It could be, and the dude's bigger than me. And he's acting erratic. He's trying to burn things in the snow. So he takes his shoes off, he puts it on it, and I go to back out, right? And I backed out too far, and we went over the embankment, and the Jeep was high-centered, stuck on the embankment. We tried for a few minutes to get the Jeep off, and It wasn't happening. His feet were cold, wet, obviously, because he's barefoot, trying to push the front end of the Jeep down and get back on the road. So I said, well, go get your shoes. The shit's not even burning. You know what I'm saying?
How far from where you got stuck to where the shit was burning?
Maybe 15 yards, 20 yards. It wasn't far at all. I mean, it wasn't far. I could see the little fire. It was nothing. And it was the middle of the night. I mean,
Right.
it had to be 3:30, 4 in the morning. I don't know. It's dark. So he walked back over there and got his shoes. And he comes back and he's like, what the fuck are we going to do? You know, he's getting all irate and upset because the Jeep stuck. I was like, guess we're going to fucking walk, man. And we were well past Rosemont.
Mm-hmm.
Well past it. And he said, how far is it? I said, it's a long fucking ways. It's how far it is. I said, it's a long ways. I said, that's what's up. I said, I don't have any water in the fucking ride. I said, it's a long ways. You know, he's all, well, this and that. We'll make a phone call. I said, there ain't no fucking phone call to make, bud. We're in the mountains. You want to come up to the mountains? We're in the fucking mountains. We're isolated. We're stuck. I said, this is what's going on. I said, we're just going to have to huff it out, you know? And, so he said, well, what about this fire over here? I said, fucking spread it out or something, man. So he went back over and kicked the fire around. You know, so all that shit was just laying there in the snow. And I said, let's hang out, you know, for a little bit. And he didn't want to hang out. And it was frantic at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like the interactions were not good between us. And I was hesitant about leaving my Jeep. I was like, man, somebody's going to fucking break out my windows. So I said, all right, this is how we're going to do with the Jeep. I said, we're going to leave the windows down and the doors unlocked. So if they want whatever's in it, let them steal from it. Hopefully they won't fucking destroy it, you know? And I said, let's get to walking. So I went back over to mess with the Jeep and he took off walking. And I was pretty much good to have some distance from him, to tell you the truth. I wasn't trying to be right up next to him, close to him or nothing, because he was acting real erratic. So I went back and unlocked the Jeep, left the windows down, and then I followed him walking. And we walked for several hours. I would say he was a long ways ahead of me. I may have hesitated a while when I was at the Jeep. I mean, it took me probably 45 minutes to catch up to him on foot. He was moving fast, which was a bad mistake. And when I caught up to him, I told him that. I said, you can't be walking this fast, bud. We got no water. We got nothing. So we got to pace ourselves because it's a long ways. You're not comprehending how far we are. I said, even once we get to Rosemont, it's still a fucking long ass way. So we walked for hours. And when I say hours, I'm not exaggerating. The sun was up. We were getting within sight of where the valley is, where the reservoir is. You know, there's the reservoir and then there's like a little valley behind it.
You talking about Rosemont or you?
Yeah, Rosemont. I believe we were coming into the valley where Rosemont was. And I had stopped and I was melting some snow because I was dying of fucking thirst, man. And as I was melting the snow, a vehicle went past. Well, Henson was walking in the middle of the road. He wasn't stopping with me. So I broke off and I went down to the road and the vehicle came back. It was an older, like, Bronco or a Blazer, but older, like 80s. There was a guy driving it. Henson was in it when it came back. Guy offered us a ride. I said, bet. You know, he said, I saw the Jeep back there. You know, when did you guys get stuck? Yesterday or last night? And I sat in the front. Henson sat in the back. So I was the one talking to the guy. I said, we got stuck last night coming back down from Skagway, man. You know, we were up by Cripple Creek fishing. We got stuck. Guy said, well, you got lucky. He says, I was going down 24 last week and the cops fucking hassled me because I don't have a license. He says, so I'm not driving down that way anymore. I'm coming into town this way. He said he worked at some automotive shop or a junkyard or something down there and that he worked at a mine up near Cripple Creek. And that he drove down to town to work one shift here and then drove back. That guy drove us down.
What kind of car was he driving?
He was driving it was either a Blazer or a Bronco or
Do
something.
you remember the color?
Brown, rust.
Guy, white guy, black guy?
He was white.
How old?
I call him late 20s, early 30s.
How tall do you remember?
He was sitting the whole time, but he was shorter than me. I guess he was 5'10".
Weight?
it's hard to judge when somebody's sitting down, man. I'd say he wasn't real skinny, but he wasn't heavy set, maybe 150, 160 pounds.
Color of his hair?
It was black, it was dark, and it was shoulder length. I couldn't give you an eye color because he was looking at the road. He was wearing gloves while he was driving. That kind of struck me as odd. You know what I'm saying? Like fingerless gloves, just some weirdo driving down Old Stage Road. Who the hell's driving down Old Stage Road in the middle of the night, right? But I just remember he said that he worked in town and he worked up on the mountain and that he didn't like the cops, which is probably why you haven't heard from him. I know you guys put some effort into the TV stuff.
Right.
He had expressed that he did not like the police while he was driving us. He drove us down. I don't remember where we were trying to go, like the gas station or something right there. What road is that McDonald's on? The 8th Street or 21st Street or whatever? 21st?
On 8th.
8th. So we came down and the guy was going that way anyway. And man, I was thirsty. That's what I remember the most, is I was thirsty. Henson, he was just quiet by then. Once we got in the car with that guy, I don't know if it was just now sinking in what he'd done or what, but he was completely quiet. Not a word. He was detached. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I told the guy thanks, offered him a couple bucks for gas. I think he might have taken it. I don't know. Maybe I gave him $5 for gas. And we got dropped off at a gas station. It's right on the corner there. Like where 21st hits Cimarron, there's a gas station on the southeastern corner. We got dropped off there.
Same street as McDonald's or the?
Same street, opposite side.
Okay.
And Henson called some people, or called Kim. He called Kim. She said, yeah, I've got some people over here. They're driving a truck. They'll come pick you guys up. Where are you at? Henson's like, da-da-da-da, we're at this gas station. I said, man, I'm fucking hungry. I said, let's walk back up to that McDonald's and get something to eat while we're waiting on these people. And at first he's like, oh, I'm not hungry. I couldn't eat this and that. I said, well, I'm hungry. Tell them we're going to be up there. So he said, all right. We went back up to McDonald's and we ate.
When he was calling, did he have a cell phone or is he?
He had a cell phone.
Okay.
And I had my cell phone too, but I wasn't calling anybody. I wasn't trying to have my cell phone on any of them. Hey, man, I was trying to be as not visible as possible. You know, I mean, I was trying to distance myself from the whole situation at that point. But yeah, he was calling Kim on the cell phone. And then these people came, we ate at McDonald's. People in a white pickup truck came. The pickup truck didn't have a back seat at all. Like we're sitting on tools and shit. It was an older couple. The chick was like a blonde chick and the guy had gray hair maybe.
Okay.
I'd never met them before. And they drove me over to Kim's house, me and Henson over to Kim's house. And they were trying to get high. That's the whole reason why they were giving us a ride. And Kim didn't get them high. And they were grumbling about it, this and that. And finally I was like, well, what's up? I'll give you $10. You give me a ride out to my grandmother's house.
How long where'd you go after they picked you up from McDonald's?
We went straight back over. Did we go somewhere else on the way? It seems like maybe they ran an errand on the way. Like they stopped somewhere and did something on the way, but we went back over to the house.
And you're still with Steve at that point?
The whole time, all the way back to that house. And he was just quiet the whole time. And we got back over there, you know, to where Kim lives and Henson's staying and all that. We sat there for a little bit and everything was, I mean, everybody was pretty much, you know, like whatever, everything was cool. Finally, I hit the people up. I was like, well, what's up? You know, can you give me a ride back up to my grandma's house? I wasn't trying to stay there. I didn't want to be around Kim and Steve anymore. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I'm going to go try to figure out how to get my fucking ride back. And I'd asked him about that. I'd said, what was going on? Because they knew somebody with the tow truck or something while we were there.
Who knew somebody?
Kim knew somebody with a tow truck. I'd seen the guy before with the tow truck. You know what I'm saying? Buying speed from her. And she's like, yeah, he'll take care of it. You know, I said, well, I'm not trying to leave my Jeep up there forever. You know, what's
Right.
up? And it didn't get taken care of, but they drove me back over the house. And then over the next several days, I had several conversations with Kim about this tow truck, right? And at one point, they were going to take care of it for me. They were going to go get it. And it didn't happen. Right? I mean, it just didn't happen. They told me, yeah, we're going. At one point, they told me, we're going to go get it. Right now, we're en route, and they wanted the title to it. And I was like, man, I'm not giving you the title to it. I said, because he's talking about crushing the Jeep and everything. I said, there's nothing wrong with the fucking Jeep. It's just high centered. So I'm not trying to crush this ride. I pay good money for it, And at that point, they kind of they led me to believe that they hadn't been back up to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the Forestry Service called me.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, has your Jeep been stolen? Has it been abandoned? What's up? I said, no, I got stuck. I was coming back from fishing, And I said, I'm going to come up there right now and take care of it. They said, well, it's been heavily vandalized. The chick's like, I'm sorry, the dispatcher. I was like, heavily vandalized, it was pretty, heavily vandalized. I asked her if the tires were good or not, if I could have it towed out, And I called around to a couple different junkyards, and I was like, well, I don't know if it's worth salvaging or not, but if it's worth salvaging, then I want it towed out. And if it's not, then I just want to sell it and get what I can for it. In this place, we just drove past it on the way over here, ABC. They were the ones finally. And this guy from down at the bar down there, he said he'd give me a ride up. So he gave me a ride up there, and I switched I had to change the tires, one of the tires, because there was a flat in the front and the back, and it had been shot to hell.
Gave you right up there?
It was a guy named Jason, and he was somebody who I just met down at the bar. He was from Kansas City on the Missouri side or something. I don't know. But he was just somebody I met at the bar. He said he'd do it for $20. He said, I'm down to go see the mountains, He drove me up there, and man, it was just shot to pieces and it had been moved. It was parked right down by the reservoir when they got it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't in the same spot. And so obviously they'd gone up there and moved it, or somebody had. I don't know. It'd been shot to pieces. I don't know how it got from point A to point B, but it was there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The windows were all shot out on the one side. There was a note from the cops that said that they'd been there and everything. I changed the tire. I took the spare from the back and I put it on the front where the front tire was flat. And then we were driving back down. The tow truck driver said, yeah, they were going to come get it. We were driving back down and met the tow truck driver. And I dropped the key off earlier with the junkyard. And he said, oh, I forgot the key. Do you have a spare? And I said, no, man, but it's all open, And I went back down to the junkyard and signed it over to him. They gave me $500 for it. I really I didn't have much to do with those people anymore after that. Henson called me a couple times. He met me once more after that over at Jim's Lounge, and he was real sketchy. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't making open threats because I don't take real well to that. If somebody openly threatened me, I'd probably react poorly to it. But it was along the lines of, you're not going to say anything. You're not going to say anything. I was like, man, I got nothing to say about anything, that's what's what. I got nothing to say about anything. And it went to rest, until you guys went and hassled my grandmother, at which point I come down to CJC and said, stop hassling my grandma. Here I am, That dude, Ortivez, I never met the guy before. I didn't have any beef with him.
Let's talk about Ortivez a little bit. Well, you were at the house and they're playing darts and everything. You talk about him going in the bedroom. Do you ever see Ortivez do anything that provoked anything?
I never saw anything, man. I never saw anything. I really didn't. Like I said, when they came out, I thought they had beef with me maybe or something. Him and Henson were laughing. It wasn't.
It's not like you don't see Ortivez getting in Henson's face and calling him names or
I didn't
trying
see
to
it.
provoke him or anything like that.
I didn't see it going down like that.
And you know how sometimes when we get drunk, we act sort of stupid and we sort of are more man than we really are when we're sober.
I understand that. And I understand, the dude Ortivez at one point while I was having a conversation with him, see, at some point he left and he came back and left a couple times, right? At one point before all this happened, he got stopped by the cops in front of the house, right?
Ortivez did?
Yeah, drunk and disorderly kind of stuff.
Right.
They were just driving through the neighborhood, here's somebody staggering. And Steve went out and brought him back in. And Steve was asking me to come back in, why the fuck are you carrying this screwdriver, right? But Steve went and got the guy. and told the cops, hey, he's with me, and brought him back. I never saw the beef. You know what I'm saying? I never saw, and it's like after when it was going down and everything, in my mind, it had to be something else that didn't go on there. It had to be older.
That's my next question. You asked Steve, what the fuck happened?
I didn't know. I didn't ask.
I mean, aren't
Hey,
you a
man,
little bit curious at that point going, what's
check it out. And like, I understand what you're saying, right? And I understand. And like my wife or one of my friends, somebody like that would ask. I sat in some bad prisons, man, doing some time, and I don't ask questions. In for a penny, in for a pound. If I know more, it's bad. It's not like.
I mean, he sort of sucked you right in the middle of a murder.
Yeah, it sure did. And it was a bitch, and it's a bummer, but like, it's not my business.
I understand that.
You know, and like, I didn't. Two men, they've got their business, right? It was odd to me, you know, but these are dope fiends. These are drug dealers. Who knows what their business
Well, it
is?
seems odd to me that you don't really even know Steve. You don't know Levi, but yet you go to the extent of helping as much as you do. Why is that?
What am I going to do, man? Am I going to call you? I mean, I don't know
Or
what
walk
to do.
away from it and say, hey, that's your beef. I don't want no fucking part of this.
Yeah, but
I'm out of here.
I know Kim and I know her daughter. They got a little baby in that house. I'm just going to leave all this happening right in their backyard. That's fucked up shit, man. And I'm hit either way. I'm right here standing here, you know. I mean, I didn't expect him to fucking choke the guy to death in my back seat. You know, I figured, fuck, we'll drive a couple blocks away, drop him off on a bus stop, and hit a payphone. You know, I mean, some dude gets beat in the middle of the street in that neighborhood. You know, what is it? It's nothing. Things just escalated real fast. You got to understand, like, I had a buzz on, and until it became what it wasn't serious. I mean, the dude was fucked off. He's beat up, but people get beat up.
How drunk do you think Levi was at that point?
Man, he was lit. He was smoking meth and he was staggering. He was lit. You know.
How about Steve?
Steve was pretty fucked up too, but he's a big boy. He wasn't staggering or nothing. And he was pretty coherent when we were in the ride. I mean, he was more high. He'd been smoking speed for hours. You know what I'm saying? And when they're doing all that dope like that, they don't get drunk. That's the big reason why I don't like that shit. Because I'm a drunk, man. I'm an alcoholic, and it kills my booze, you know? And he was high on speed. And like I say, when they came out of that room, there was tension, but it could have well been focused at me. It wasn't, they were walking side by side. It was obvious when they were in that alley that Levi wasn't expecting to fight with Henson.
Why do you say that?
Because he stood right next to him. Like how he and I are. Like this, he stood right next to him. Henson turned sideways and hit him in the gut like that. They weren't squared off.
They weren't like me and you face to
No,
face
they
like
weren't.
this, like we're getting ready
No,
to
no,
go.
no. They were standing down there looking back at me. And then Henson got it. I mean, it was a Sunday punch, man, all day. The dude wasn't expecting it at all. You know? I mean,
Do you ever see, you talked about the screwdriver a minute ago. Do you ever know what happened to that screwdriver?
I don't know what happened to anything that dude had. By the time he was in my car, he was wearing like a t-shirt and pants. And I know he had more. He didn't have his shoes. He didn't have his coat. And there was just nothing there. Like the shit that we burned in the mountains, all those pockets were empty and everything. I handled all that shit, throwing it back in there. Nothing was falling out. Nothing.
So what clothes got cut off of him then? Just a shirt?
A shirt, pants, and he had socks on. I remember the socks because they were sitting in the fucking
What about
snow.
his shoes?
I never saw any shoes.
Did he walk around the house with no shoes?
I can't remember if there were shoes on his feet. I couldn't imagine any, but there was snow all in the alley.
Yeah,
He had to be
well-
wearing shoes. And I could have sworn he had like he was like a typical little South Sider. He had the little starter Parker or whatever the fuck. I think he had a Raiders jacket on when he first went out in the alley with him. By the time I came back around his truck, he didn't have a coat. That's for damn sure. The dude was not dressed for winter conditions.
Okay.
And I never saw shoes on his feet, but I can only assume that he was wearing shoes when he walked. There was snow in that backyard that had to be 2 or 3 inches
Did
deep.
Steve ever tell you that Levi did anything to provoke him to do that? I mean, you may not have asked, but does Steve say anything to you?
Not then. Okay. When he met me in Jim's lounge later, he told me, hey, look, that dude had to go. He was doing fucked up shit. But he never was specific. Like, we drank some beers and stuff, and he tried to engage me in conversation about it. And I was like, look, man, what's done is done. You know, just keep your fucking mouth shut and let it be.
He never goes into detail what the fucked up shit was.
It was never put out there for me like that. The first, like, hey, Josh can attest to this. He said to me, did you ever hear about this guy being a rapist or anything like that? I'd never heard anything about that. That was never brought to my attention.
So when you're talking to Mr. Tellini about the whole allegation about him possibly trying to hit on Kimmy or have sex with her and all that.
Fuck, who doesn't hit on Kimmy or try to have sex with her? She's a fucking dope whore. You know, I'm sure that went on. But I mean, it's not like it's, hey, look.
But you never personally saw him do any of that.
I never saw any of that go on. But that chick's a straight nympho.
I understand.
She'd sleep with whoever. And I don't think that somebody hitting on Kim is not reason enough for them to get beat to death.
Right.
By any means.
Right.
Somebody hitting on Kim is reason enough for somebody to make a couple dollars maybe, you know. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying,
I understand.
you know, all that stuff that was said about the reasons why and everything, the first I heard of it was from you guys.
How about the allegation with the screwdriver? I mean, I'm sure Mr. Tellini talked to you about that.
I never saw it, you know. I never saw that. I saw, okay, there was a screwdriver. I know that. I know there was a screwdriver because we were all laughing when he come walking up the street. Check it out, man. You're going to go walk 2 blocks and get rousted by the cops, right? And the cops took it out of his pocket, and it was a long screwdriver, and set it on the hood.
How far away are you seeing all this interaction?
Like from that, where that door is that faces the long driveway,
Right.
where my Jeep was parked, from there, looking over my Jeep, right, they stopped him right at the end of the driveway.
Okay, so you're back by the house looking back now.
Yeah, you know, and the cops, yeah, I thought it was funny. I may have seen it first and drawn everybody else's attention. Dude, look at this motherfucker, you know? And Henson's like, oh, you know, that's my partner. I don't want him getting busted. And he went out there, and Henson straight went and saved him from the cops. So the guy would have been taken away by the police.
Did the cops give him back the screwdriver?
Yeah, they get. Well, I don't know that for sure. It seems like they did. Why would they take it from him?
Okay. Is that the first time you saw the screwdriver?
That was the only time I saw the screwdriver.
So you never saw him, Ortivez, Levi, break it out and hold it like a knife in the house,
Hey,
get
man.
stupid or anything like that with it?
If I'd have seen that, then there'd have been issues. I wasn't Henson's friend, but I know Kimmy, and whore, doper, or whatever. She's a cool chick. You know what I'm saying? Her
Right.
daughter's got a little baby. If it was really going on like that, like people threatening women and shit, white women around me, I'm a fucking skinhead, man. You don't fucking threaten white women around me.
Right.
It'll be on and cracking, on site. He'd have had issues with me.
How'd you feel about the little Vato being there? Little
Don't
Hispanic
bother
guy?
me at all. I got lots of partners that are Sioux.
Okay.
And my understanding, the way he introduced himself to me was that he was Sioux. He's Serrano. We ride tough, man. I know lots of Serranos in the joint. Sit and play cards with them every day.
No problems with them.
No problems ever. In fact, right now, I'm sitting in jail right now with a bunch of them that I know. Piles of them. And I got no issues from them. Them dudes ran Steve up top because of this shit. When I hit that jail, they asked me. I said, I didn't have nothing to do with it. They took my word on it. That's how good I am with them. I've got no, you know, it's just not that way. Our problems are with the Jews and the niggers, man. I got nothing, you know, that's what's up. I got nothing against the Serranos. I know lots of them, lots of them. I've even been celled with several of them since I've been there. I got no problem with it.
Okay. There was some talk about you being in the living room at some point, dealing with some rope or cutting some stuff.
I don't know, man.
Do you know anything about that?
There was a spool of rope, and I may have cut some off of it. That's the kind of shit that I'd have.
Why is that?
Because I've got a pile of tools in the back of my ride, and rope's always useful. That spool, when it originally showed up, there was some guy named Jay that Kim was dating before, and he had a big black truck. And when he went to jail, they all went and robbed his truck, and they came back with a big spool of rope. And I'd asked her then for some of that rope. And at some point there, that rope came back. You know what I'm saying? They had the spool of rope, and I asked for some of it.
So when you see Levi and Steve go out the back door, you're still in the house. They go out the back sliding glass door on the side toward the backyard.
Yeah, onto the porch.
How far behind are you?
Okay, I followed him into the kitchen. I went back from the kitchen. I walked over and finished my beer, turned it back and emptied it, set it down. There was a bottle of schnapps, peppermint schnapps. I took a couple drinks out that. Not long.
How long?
Minute and a half, 2 minutes,
Okay.
3 minutes, not long. I mean,
A
short
minute and a
enough time.
half, I mean, if I told you to basically relive that, I mean.
Minute and a half to top in if you told me to relive it. I turned around and walked back out.
So if I told you right now you're standing at the back door and now they're walking out, how long, and just relive it in your mind, you're now walking over and getting your beer and drinking it.
Yeah, probably a minute. I mean,
I just want you to sort of
minute.
close your
minute
eyes and
a half.
relive that. And I'm going to tell you, they just walked out the back door and you're walking over and having a couple drinks. And then just keep going, and I want you to keep reliving that until you're actually walking out the back door yourself.
Probably about now.
So about 20 some seconds.
Wow, that quick, huh? Yeah, that's probably, I mean,
Okay.
how long does it, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes our time perception, we always say, a couple minutes, but a couple
Sure.
minutes is really a long
Minutes
time.
is a long time.
A lot of people say, I've been in a fight for 5 minutes. Nobody's,
No.
5 minutes is a long fight, you know?
Well, you know,
30
this
seconds
is
a long
what
fight.
this is what it is. I wasn't that far behind them because when I went back on the porch, they were crossing that piece of fence.
So they hadn't even, I mean,
Yeah,
it
they were crossing the yard, hitting that piece of fence that we stepped over.
Did you get the impression when you walked out the back door there had been any kind of physical confrontation or any problems between the two of them at that point?
No, definitely not. No, because when they crossed the fence and they went over to the other side, they stood there. I'm telling you, these two dudes stood side by side, looking at me, like waiting for me. You know, when I saw the whole thing going down, I thought I was going down to get into a fist fight. I really did. You know, which is fine. I mean, I don't care. You want to box with me, that's cool.
Right.
I mean, right, whatever.
Well, what made you thought that maybe they had a beef with you? Why would you think that?
Because I'm paranoid. Because people, they come out together, and Steve says, "Hey, Cody, you want to come outside with me?" You know, and they weren't jovial. They weren't like laughing. There was tension, like I say, and I said, "Yeah, I'll come outside. Let me hit
Knowing
this
there was
beer."
tension, why don't you say, if I was me going, well, what the fuck? What's going on? Or what's the problem?
I'm not into asking a bunch of questions, man. If you want to threaten me, you want to get down with me, then that's what we're going to go do. There's a certain, I just don't do that. That's not the way I operate. And I think that I understand that the way that my motivations and the way I deal with situations is different from the average person, but my background and where I come from is different.
And I understand.
And I'm not here to back down from a threat. You know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
I'm not here to try to talk my way out of it. If you want to box with me, then let's go get it. You know?
Mhm.
And that has to do with my religion, that has to do with my political beliefs, and that has to do with the way I've been raised. And I'll turn away from no challenge. All comers are always welcome. Period. You know? And what that does for me is that 9 times out of 10 people won't initiate it with me. Because they know I'll go. We won't talk about it. I'll go. You know?
More than just words.
There are no words. This isn't about words. Words are what's shared between friends. If you're not my friend, then I have no words for you. And, you know, let me get another drink before we have this fight and I'm thrown out. But that's not the way it went down. I went outside and they got at it. And it was confusing to me. That's why I thought there has to be something else, right, that I'm missing, because they went out together.
When you're at gyms and Cody or that Steve's trying to explain to you what all happened, what's he saying? Do you remember?
Well, first off, he never referred to like what, you know, that thing, you know, and before the Jeep, because he met me once before the Jeep, it was gone, before, you know, he's like, man, got to get that Jeep crushed. This, and I was like, man, I'm not getting my Jeep crushed, you know, it's just not happening. And he's all, you know, woo, this and that, whatever, just you can't be talking about this. And I said, man, I don't have a problem talking about anything ever. You know, that's not what I do. But it was just, he was nervous, and he was nervous about me going to the police. I mean, that's what it was. And he came at one point in the conversation, he said something about how Garnhart I didn't even think about that till now. He told me that Garnhart was running his mouth about it. Like on the street, running his mouth about it. And he'd said to me at one point that something needed to be done about Garnhart. And I said, that's not my beef, man. You know, whatever, but I'm not.
Did you know George before that?
I'm told that I met him once, but I'm telling you right now, for the life of me, he wasn't somebody who made any kind of impression. Not at all. Not at all. You know, and I couldn't pick him out now. In fact, I was just in the hole in jail, and he was in there. And I heard him say his name, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to get a look at this guy. But they locked me down and moved him out before I got to look at him. I've heard real good things about his father, you know, but obviously he's not, I don't know what his trip is, but it's caused me a lot of heartache, a lot of grief. And
Did you guys ever talk about after the homicide, before we went over there that day, about when we first went to Kimmy's house, the day that Steve got arrested, about what happens if the cops come and what's going to happen? What's the story going to be, I guess?
he tried to talk to me that night that we were in the bar about that kind of stuff. And I said, man, you just don't say nothing. I said, that's what's up. I said, you get an attorney and you keep your fucking mouth shut. And that's it. You don't say anything, ever. And I wouldn't talk to him about it. He was trying to talk to me about things, but you have to understand that in my mind, we don't need a story. We don't need to talk about things. Things need to be quiet, you know? It was very frustrating for me that the man was even contacting me anymore, you know? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I told him repeatedly when he came to talk to me that day that I didn't want to hear it, and that if anything happened, that he just keep his mouth shut and get an attorney. Don't fucking say nothing. Don't say anything. You know, that's all. Just keep your mouth shut and get an attorney. Dude said that he'd done time. He said that, you know, and I don't know why he didn't do that. I mean, that's anything. Any attorney will tell you exactly what I just said. Keep your mouth shut and get an attorney. There was never any discussion about what would be said or anything like that. And fuck, man, I heard 100 different stories in that county jail after that guy got arrested. From people I'd never met. He was sitting down in medical telling a different story every other day while he was in there. People were coming up to me, they're like, man, this dude's down there just straight admitting to this and that, and, you know?
Does he ever admit to you that he got attacked with a screwdriver?
No, that was never said to me.
So he never said, hey, my story, my defense is going to be I got attacked with a screwdriver.
No, that was never said to me. There was
You
never.
never saw anything like that.
No, I never. The only
Did you
time.
did you ever see him with any injuries? Did you ever see Steve like he got cut, stabbed with a screwdriver?
No, there was no. I didn't see anything like that.
And he never shares anything like that with you.
No.
Does
No.
Kimmy afterwards talk about?
Kimmy spoke to me once more after that, and it was at that bar.
Which bar?
At the Roadhouse 24.
Okay.
And it was when I was agitated in the bar, and I was telling people somebody's going to pay me for my Jeep.
That's the time you got.
That's I was getting pissed. I said, "This is what's up. Somebody's."
How much were you on the Jeep?
About $4,500.
I figured about that.
And I was pretty hot about it. I said, one of you motherfuckers is going to pay me for my Jeep. I don't give a fuck who, how, or what. Get my money. And Kim was like, look, just don't ever come over to the house again. I said, bet. I don't want anything to do with you motherfuckers. I'm out $4,000, you know? Pay me. Borrow it from somebody who likes you, you know? Whatever. Figure it out. Pay me. I don't care. I don't care what you do or how you do it. Get my money, you know? And that's exactly what it was. I can remember it.
How long after the homicide did that happen?
Man,
I think there was almost about a month that passed from the time.
I want to say it was a couple of weeks, but my sense of it's all very compressed to me now. You know, all the events.
Did you ever see this white chick again that you were picking up?
No, man, and I don't know where she went or anything. But she's probably a street whore. I mean,
Did Kimmy ever talk about knowing the chick or anything?
no, they didn't know her at all. That was the first. That's because Kim asked me. She's like, "Where'd you find her?" I was like, "On the side of the road," She's all, no, where'd you find her? I was like, yeah,
So,
on the side of the road. She's all, well, you paying her? I said, not yet. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I had a pretty rough run with the women. After Margot ended up hanging herself in the jail and shit, I wasn't trying to get too deep involved with anybody. And then shit just went south, man. But no, I don't know what happened to that girl. Kim could probably tell you better than me. She took her down to get the taxi.
did she take her to get a taxi?
Yeah, they walked together. Well, I would assume we saw them walking together when I left.
Do you know if she got her? Did Kim ever say she got her taxi?
I don't know. I gave her money for it.
Okay.
But
Whether that happened or not, we don't know.
maybe it just went to the next 8 ball.
Is there anything else that you can think of that I'm not asking you? That you think is important that I know?
I think you pretty much know it all, man. I mean, at least my end of it.
Did you ever hit Levi?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Ever touch him?
I never touched him. Not once. Not in the whole interaction. I never touched him. I figured you guys would know what was up. I mean, I don't know. I never been involved in a murder. You know what I'm saying? I've been involved in some crimes, but I was scared to death about touching him. I figured you guys could pull fingerprints off of him personally and everything else. I mean, I don't know how that stuff works, but I didn't touch any of that stuff. I touched his clothing and stuff after the fact, put it back in the Jeep. And I remember those socks sitting in the fucking bloody spot on the ground outside on the snow.
For some reason, I had to take you back up to the mountains and have him show us that general area where the fire was. Do you have any problems with that?
No,
It won't be today, but
No.
I might go for another road trip.
It'd be better if you waited till after I was out of the county jail. Hopefully that'll be in the near future here, me being out of there. I mean, if you can't wait, you can't wait.
Probably not, because it's gonna freaking start snowing here soon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can show you exactly where it was.
okay. I probably would want to do that sometime in the very, very near future.
All right.
It is, and it's a long drive. I mean, you're right, it's a long freaking ways up there. Let me go talk to Gail real quick, see if she has anything.
That's fine. Maybe they keep it on though. Don't know why.
Trying to whisper now.
Oh, I'm aware.
Oh man, but they know they're being recorded.
These dudes are gonna get me in a wreck in this county jail.
Wreck, huh? Well,
Fucking idiots, man.
this the deal. This is taken months later, 10 months later. So he's been held in jail for 10 months before this interview was he ever agreed to an interview. And so, man, the story's crazy. It's a crazy thing. There's a lot of in between. What we're going to play next is the post-arrest interview of Steven. I played the pre-arrest interview yesterday.
Peanut, cribbage, peanut, that's all I play.
The
Years of my life now spent playing peanut. Yeah, I don't gamble either, so it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's all right there. It was hard to find a game down in the Deltas. All those guys want to gamble and stuff.
I think you get kind of rough in Delta with the gambling.
It's rough anywhere with a
But-
game,
Dude, that's anytime I got some client that's going down DOC that is nervous about it. I'm like, number one rule: don't gamble.
Yeah, don't gamble. Don't get involved with the punks. And don't do drugs. That's what I tell all the youngsters. You don't.
Keep your head down, and more than likely you'll be okay.
Yeah. Don't do drugs. Don't gamble. And don't mess with the fairies.
Yeah.
And, that's it. That's all the rest of it.
there's the rules, kids.
Big and everybody.
There's the rules inside. Don't gamble, don't do drugs, and don't mess with the fairies.
Yeah, the Delta, they all play a bunch of poker, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't play poker at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play a lot of poker and a lot of spades.
Oh man.
I hope this process moves along quickly from this point.
He's gonna get his charges dropped. I don't know why he's down in he must be down in DOC for another reason.
This guy I'm living with, he took a 10-year comp core deal or 5-year comp core deal. He made it 2 weeks.
Did he walk away or did he?
They caught him with like, I guess there's fake marijuana now.
Like the synthetic?
I guess so.
Yeah.
And they caught him with that. It was like that, and he cashed his check or something. 2 weeks.
That's probably like with Concord. You go Concord, you like think I'm gonna, try to get away with as much shit as I can. You get away with a little bit, but eventually you get caught, and then you're
Talking about his other boys,
I had 6
guys that
months
he's
locked
in
up for prison.
county jail with.
5
So
months with no problems. And I went. And I
he
drank
got
a pint
all
of
his
Guinness.
charges
1
dropped
pint of Guinness.
for this case. I don't know
4
what other
hours
charges he
before I
was
went back.
facing,
Yeah.
1 pint of Guinness, and I come back and
but
get registered on that.
the
red
thing
flag.
is
2
they
minutes
used
later, I
his
was there.
story. If his story was even
Yeah.
close to correct, like
And I
if
did
Steve
33
did
days
beat
in
the
county jail
guy
for that 1 pint of Guinness.
and this guy just
Right.
helped
You did
him,
Concord through
that other
your
guy
federal
wasn't going to
release?
turn on this guy because
I didn't realize
this
they did
guy's
that.
got connections inside
Oh,
of
man,
prison.
do
He's
all your
been
federal
around.
time,
So
and then they can
and
public file you to Concord.
it sounds like he's not
And then I got
he's
3 years
not
parole
like
afterwards.
getting in trouble
And the
inside of
Concord
prison.
didn't count for anything. I was doing 7
So
months earlier.
Really?
yeah, they
Call it reintegration.
Yeah.
Did all these classes like, somebody
I'm
takes your
listening
coat,
now.
what do you do? Smash them. Well, what else could you do? Are they bigger than me? I guess you could just have it. I don't know. What else could you do? Well, I don't know, man. What else can you do? You could either take it back or let them have it. Well, you could call the police. Or not. I don't know. Oh, man, the classes were rough. Rough. They tell you things like, what we're here to do is to help you not be recidivistic, not carry a gun anymore.
Couple of quick questions. The clothes, the stuff that was cut off of Levi,
Yes.
where was Levi at when he got the clothes cut
He was
off?
on the ground next to the Jeep
Is this where, did his clothes get cut off
in the mountains.
in the mountains, but as in the area where you guys stopped to drag it, where his body was dragged down in the,
That's the only place that he left the Jeep in the mountains. And it
okay.
was right there on the side of the road.
And then as he's cutting the clothes out, clothes off, Steve, is what's happening with the clothes?
He was throwing them back kind of towards me because I was like standing off back, like towards the back of the Jeep, and he was right next to the Jeep. So the
And the
Jeep,
clothes go back in the Jeep?
the clothes went right back in on top of the blanket.
Okay. Talking about blood in the Jeep and there's blood on the blanket. Did you notice any other blood in the Jeep? Well, we had a couple of areas in the Jeep tested and none of it came back. Did you clean up any blood or see anything?
I didn't clean any blood up, and I was surprised. But like I say, that Jeep was moved. And I who else would move it but Henson? I mean, I don't know. They told me they were going up there that one day. I never did anything to that Jeep. I went up there and sold it. And
You'll
then
be able to show us where the Jeep was stuck at and then where it ultimately was towed from.
yeah, where that fire was made is where we usually cut our Christmas trees down. We're stealing Christmas trees. I know where it is.
Okay.
You know,
And I've been up there. And
you won't get me for stealing Christmas trees.
No.
But yeah, I know it's a big loop. It's a big loop turnaround. It's a bigger turnaround.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. Remember you talked about seeing Chick looking out the back window?
Yeah.
Who do you think that was?
I thought it was Kim Stevens.
What do you think it was, Kim Stevens? What makes you think that?
Well, it's her bedroom window,
Okay.
and she's the only woman I remember being there besides the girl that was with me at that point. And the girl that was with me was in the living room sitting there drinking my beer.
When you walked out.
Yeah.
What about
How about
Kimmy's
Kayla?
daughter?
Yeah, Kayla.
She was downstairs with another guy that I never saw. Like she said, my boyfriend's downstairs
When did Kayla go downstairs?
much earlier,
How much earlier?
hours, 2 or 3 hours earlier.
So she hadn't been upstairs for
She
a
hadn't
while.
been upstairs for a long time.
Okay.
When the guy showed up, she was only upstairs.
Smiley.
I don't think he was there anymore, but I don't know. He was staying there. He was in the bedroom straight across from Kim. He was staying. Maybe he was in that bedroom the whole time, the opposite bedroom.
Okay. But when you're looking up there, is it a male or female figure that you
It was
see?
a woman.
Okay.
And I say that because of the long hair.
Okay. Smiley have long hair?
No, he had like curly dark hair. I mean, it was longer than mine, but
from where you're at in the alley where you see Steve get hits Levi, can whoever looking out the window see all that?
It was almost, it'd been like if you looked out the window, it'd been like directly below you in the alley. I mean, I don't know because I never looked out that window on the alley, but I would think so.
When did you first notice the female in the window?
After the assault had happened.
So you're not sure when that female figure appeared in the window?
No, I don't know.
You didn't, it was after you see.
When it went down, I was focused on Henson, obviously.
Right.
It's hard to take your eyes away from something like that. But as soon as he broke off of it, my mind went into running tech on the situation. And I started looking, trying to see
Who's watching, what's going on,
exactly
who's around.
where are the eyes at,
Right.
I see the light coming from the window. I'm drawn up that way. There's somebody standing.
Do you ever ask him, hey, did you see what happened?
I never talked about it, man. I really didn't. And that's,
I know, that's a question I gotta ask.
I know, but I never, that's just not, I've been taught that you don't, that's the rule.
So what you see is you see Levi get hit once in the stomach, he bends over, you see him take one to the
And he
face
crumbles.
and crumble. And then after that,
Steve kicked him several times
kicked him with his
feet.
and you say he's wearing boots.
He's
What
wearing
color's his boots? Do you remember?
brown, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. They were bloody afterwards.
How many times do you think he kicked him?
It'd be hard to put an exact number on
Where
it.
at on his body?
Upper torso and head.
So it's not like he's trying to kick his feet or his legs. He's attacking that.
He was hurt. He was looking to hurt him. He was putting the boots to him, man. Like
Is Levi's hands up around his face protecting himself, or is he like just sort of?
I want to say they weren't. I want to say that when he got hit with that second punch, I want to say that he was probably unconscious at that point.
Right.
He fell on his side.
And then he started getting kicked. Then you also described how Steve actually got on him and started hitting him.
Yeah, he bent down over him and hit him a couple times. I don't know if he was on top of him physically or just hunched over him, but he hit him a couple more times. And then it was over. And Steve was surprisingly calm afterwards. At that point, I probably would have believed that he'd done some prison time and been involved in some violence before, because
Very violent attack you described.
and he was calm afterwards. So, I mean,
And then that's when you left. Did you ever see him get hit with any kind of a blunt object like a stick or anything?
no, I never saw that. And I know I'd heard that in the prelim, the talk about the stick. There was no need to hit him with a stick. I mean, I never saw
But
it
you
happen.
never saw anything like that.
No, but I mean, the job was done pretty well.
Okay.
You
What's your schedule like Friday?
I've got a hearing in the morning, and then I'm clear after that.
Can you make time on Friday?
To go on a trip? I think so.
You want to call? Gail's available if you're available.
Yeah, let me give you a call. I should be able to.
All right, then I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be in touch, and then as soon as we're done, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recorder. I'll get you out of here, Josh.
All right.
Yeah, so if you can get that paperwork from them, fax it up. Like I said,
I'll get it done as quick as I can.
that'd be cool. Are they apt to delay?
They should, and I'll get a copy of this.
All right. So they started talking about obviously some lawyer stuff that they cut this video out of. And is my phone still? Can y'all hear me? I don't know if y'all can hear me. Can y'all got me? Y'all got me? I don't know if y'all got me or not. If y'all can't hear me, y'all can't we'll just go from there. So they probably started talking lawyer stuff and cut that recording off. I hope y'all got me all right. We're about to go into Stephen's post-arrest interview. So perfect. Thanks, Rose. So what you just heard is Coyte's interview of what happened, but it was made like this interview's happening in November of 2010. They arrested Stephen and Coyte in February of 2010. Last night we listened to Stephen's pre-arrest interview. Right now I'm about to kick off his post-arrest interview. And this was after they kind of got the story. They had recovered the body. This is happening. So it will be interesting to see what happens or what this next interview is about. And so I'm gonna throw that one on. You guys have been y'all been holding yourselves perfect. I barely had to do no mods or nothing. All right. So this is interesting because this is after. This is done on the 11th, okay? This is an hour and 20-minute video, and I haven't watched any of it. All I can tell you is this is post-arrest. So last night we watched pre-arrest of Steve's interview where he tried to say, nothing happened. Then he came back and told the truth after he found out Kim had already snitched on him. There's other people that had been talking. And so now we'll see what's up. So let's listen. I got some drama going on I got to deal with. Jeez.
I wouldn't even tell you something, seriously, because from what you've said and stuff, I mean, it's a unique case, and I wouldn't even try to tell you. Anything can happen. And when he is talking to you outside when you're having your cigarette before he left, that's exactly true, that case he is telling you about. So, I've been doing this a long time, and crazy things happen.
I even got on my record before. I had 2 class 2 felony assaults where I almost killed somebody before because I caught him peeping in and trying to break into a house. He was taking pictures of a lady in her shower one morning.
Oh.
I just hit him once. I crushed the whole right side or left side of his face. Put him in a coma and stuff. I ended up pleading guilty to impersonating a police officer. So what I'm gonna be wearing, like a jumpsuit or what?
Probably, yeah.
So I'll go to court sometime today. Probably just be that TV court, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me what I'm being charged with. There is somebody in jail, some skinhead guy, and I don't know his real name. They call him, you can find out. They call him a trailer park.
Trailer park?
Yeah, him and his crew jumped me.
Oh, did they?
Not too long ago, so they want to kill me.
For what?
I don't know why they jumped me, because somebody who was with me was flipping off us, and they thought it was them, and I stuck up for them. And when it was one-on-one, they didn't do it, so then they had 5 of them jump me. We still didn't do it.
Sorry for the delay. Everything else takes longer than I think. You take those cuffs off, yeah.
Got it tightened again.
And then I'm going to have you stand. Probably will just move this table over actually here.
Just have keep stay there. Just keep your seat right there. Stay in the chair. Get back in the corner. All right. Long time to be wearing the clicks.
Yeah, this one hurts. Didn't get locked.
This is the one I just loosened up. I did not double lock it though.
He looks like he's wearing the same stuff he'd been wearing all night. So he's just been at the jail all night. I'm not sure if they made it up to Gold Camp Road yet. This is on February 11th. So
Gotta grab your jacket, put it in one bag. We'll just do one at a time. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna take some pictures of you first, and then we'll do that.
yeah, so now he's being booked into jail. He's being booked into jail in this room. I haven't watched this interview, so I don't know what. I hope that surely they're not gonna release this video of him changing clothes. Surely they didn't put that on a disc that ended up with Dad with the phone. This is his post arrest. So yesterday we listened to this morning, early ass morning. You can go check it out, episode 1 of the Levi Ortivez murder. You can check out episode 1. We actually listened to this guy's pre-arrest video.
Thank you.
I don't know if they've found Levi at this point. We're going to find out, though.
Yeah.
All I know is that this is his, like, he's about to do an interview of some sort that is post-arrest. So, obviously, he's being arrested right now. This is him being arrested. This is, all portions. This is a little different. They're just taking pictures of him as he came in. So,
Alrighty. Now we'll do that top jacket.
he was definitely, they said he was wearing those same pants when all this stuff went down, too. I don't think they're going to strip him down right here. I better get ready to cut this video and they're going to strip him down. I wish I had a little blur effect. I could just do a live blur effect. Turn this down. Is there a weird echo? Have y'all been listening to a weird echo? With my speaker on.
Go ahead and keep those two things on.
I decided not to wear my headphones, got my little speaker on, so hopefully y'all haven't been hearing some weird echo.
Something to wear out or no?
Something's coming up.
I mean,
So
shoes wise?
we'll have something. It ain't gonna be much like shoes, but it'll be something.
You think? I hope. I'm gonna cut this video if he goes naked. I can't be having that nudity on my show. I gotta get ready. Oh, y'all don't have a weird echo. Sound is clear. It's perfect.
I need to take the pictures of your hands. Just put them right there.
All right. That's a big dude right there, man. That ain't a small guy. Okay, cool. Sherry, good. I'm glad I fixed it. You ain't ever been booked into jail. This is what it's like. Now, this is private. No, normally you're in a big booking area and you're getting booked in and stuff, but they're taking pictures of his knuckles, his hands. There is a very good possibility they have recovered
Scars.
Levi at this point
Like I
because
see the hairs
it looks like they're trying to get measurements and different things of his hands. So,
Scars.
no, Rachel, I wouldn't put y'all through that.
Stars.
This?
Stars.
I wouldn't put y'all through
Stars?
that. So
Okay.
I'll be cutting it if he starts getting naked on the screen. But
it bled through, and then I just tell people that's the last thing they see when they hit them.
There you go.
tonight, y'all join me. I've got my first co-host
So this is not a
audition,
burn on your
interview,
fingers?
whatever. We're just going to do a podcast. It ain't really going to be an audition or an interview.
Well, my
It's just going to be a
car's been burned
podcast,
before
but
it passed, it just
possible
started up now.
co-host. I'm setting up over the next week different podcasts to do with potential co-host people. So it's the response was absolutely awesome, and it was something that happened in the middle of the night for me. It was like wake up, and all I could think about was like, should I get I think I should get a co-host for Dad with a Phone. So tonight's one of those. If you didn't know that, join us tonight. That cop is in like a work uniform. That cop is like in like Dickies coverall, so he must have been up at the scene. He probably came straight back from the scene because he's not wearing like cop guard. He's wearing like a Dickies pullover uniform.
Just let it hang.
Yeah, I got to be careful because these are never before released videos. You ain't ever seen this video on a YouTube. There ain't nobody else out there that's put this video out there. And so this is kind of a live deal that I'm not 100% what they cut or what they don't cut. So I don't know where where we'll cut. If they rip his shirt off him, I might just
don't
cut
look
it.
old or like a scar to me, right?
Huh?
It doesn't look old or like a
I
scar.
could always
to
do
me.
that. So I could just go over. We could still hear what was going on. I could put my pretty little face over and still listen.
Got on my back of my arms too.
We'll get those in a minute.
Got on the back of there too.
Okay. Any injuries
He
on
ain't
your
built.
face? I have a scar right there.
No, and we're talking about the guy that
That sounds like a bitch.
Levi was
Stab
no.
right there.
Okay. Same time, different times.
Same time.
Okay.
Same guy.
Let's see.
They
Just go ahead and grab a seat for now. Ricky's working on getting some
good. They're not going to make him drop.
scrubs.
How about buckles?
He's definitely wearing
Yeah,
his coveralls.
do that.
Yeah, there's a very good chop.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it does. And I have the pictures, and I could go pull those pictures right now, actually.
Okay, so
Um,
here we
but
are.
we're gonna
back
get through this
at,
interview.
Now we're at 154. In the morning.
What's all the pictures for?
That's what we do anytime we take somebody into custody for this type of case. Okay, so our boy Peckerwood. There's a lot of chatter about Peckerwood.
He's not involved.
Okay. I'm not trying to say he is or he isn't, because obviously I wasn't there.
Right. He's not involved though.
And did you know him by another name? I know we talked about it earlier.
Corey or Cody or something like that.
Corey or Cody?
Yeah.
Okay. But he's someone you know from the Plat 24 Club.
Kim introduced me to him. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, the word is we're talking about his Jeep, him driving. That's the word. And some other words too, for that matter. You know, if it's information you don't have, you don't have it. But if this is a dude you're concerned about, or whoever the dude was with you, I'm not trying to tell you it was him because I don't know.
Mhm.
But you know who was driving that Jeep. Whether you know his name or not, whether you call him Slap Dog or, you know, Joe Smith, it doesn't matter. You know who it is. You know him when you see him. For all I know, you're lifelong buddies with him. Or maybe you met him for 5 minutes. I don't really know. I do know this. There's damn few people on the planet that'll help a dude hide a body. Goddamn few. So, and if the information we have is accurate, that's what this dude did, whoever it is. And if the conversations that we're having, that we've had, are accurate, if you're representing the truth as you believe it, and you have concerns about Kimmy, you have concerns about Kaylee, you have concerns about her baby, then I would assume that it's somehow related to the dude that was doing the driving. Well, if it's you and him and a dead guy in that car, there's only two people who can talk about that. And the dead guy ain't one of them. Other guy's probably not coming forward. But if you're legitimately concerned about who this dude is and what he does, how's he going to be off the streets otherwise? I don't know. And I understand people have influence. I understand that ain't necessarily what he might do. It might just be what he might say. And when I say he, I'm talking about whoever was driving. So I'm telling you flat out, if you don't tell us who was driving, we're probably in the case right there then. But don't think for a second that people haven't told us as much as they've already told us it was accurate. Why would that suddenly not be true?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything else seems to add up.
As long as my name is not on it, everybody will be safe.
Okay. So tell me what you mean by that.
I'm not saying names.
Okay.
I mean, I will help you any way I can, but I'm not saying names.
Okay. There's information circulating that more happened to this dude than he got punched in the face.
He got hit hard, and I told you when I went outside where he was at, he wasn't where he was laying at. He was somewhere else.
But you also told me that you don't have any reason to believe that anyone other than him had anything to do with his movement from wherever he went down after the punch
Right.
to where.
As far as I know, he got up and left.
Okay.
And then, a lot of people I told you had problems with him. Robbing
Yeah,
him.
but I don't think there was a line of people waiting to
No.
jump his ass after he got clocked.
Right.
Unless the whole thing was a setup.
What do you mean?
Was the whole thing a setup?
No.
Okay. Did you guys lay for him to come fuck with the door so then you could come clean his clock?
Oh, no. Hell no.
Okay. I kind of
I
don't
was
think
getting
so
ready to
either.
left. I was getting ready
I
to
wouldn't rule anything out, just so you know. I'm not trying to tell you what happened because I
Right.
wasn't there. What I'm telling you is some things make sense and some things don't.
Everything is true. I just don't want to say his name. I just don't want to put his name into it.
Okay.
It's the only thing.
And you understand that by refraining from doing that, then whoever he is, he's still walking. He draws whatever conclusions he draws. He assumes whatever he wants to assume. And you know, and I know that dudes of that caliber, dudes who will help you hide bodies, going to believe what they want to believe, regardless of what the truth is. Am I right? Does it matter what you say? If he believes to the contrary, does it matter what you say? If you say his name or don't say his name, if he believes you did, what matters?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm just trying to get you to be realistic here.
Being realistic. As long as he knows that his name never came out of my mouth, then everything will be okay.
Okay.
If it's not, then I guess I'll have to deal with that.
Okay. Well, I'm not telling you I don't respect that. I kind of respect that.
I don't want Kimmy or her daughter ever having any repercussions. So that's another reason why I'm
And it's
keeping
your
my
opinion
mouth.
that by not saying his name, it's less likely. Okay. Has it occurred to you that maybe you've said enough that we're already on that track and that we're going to confront him and say, what's up? And he'll conclude whatever he concludes from that encounter.
I never said anything.
Okay. I'm not going to completely agree with you on that unless you're going to say that some of the stuff he told us wasn't true. I will agree with you that you never said his name. I agree with you on that. But, we can get to people without someone saying their name. We can get to them, we can confront them, we can figure it out another way.
No, I just can't tell him. I'm not saying nothing.
Well,
I just don't want nothing happening to the girls or me. They really don't care about me as much as those two girls.
and again, I'm just going to repeat, because I'm not trying to tell you how it is. I'm asking you, are you telling me essentially that you think things are better off by not saying his name than if you do?
Mhm.
Okay. Is that the code you live by, or?
I don't believe in telling on people.
Okay. I can respect that. For whatever my respect is worth, you know?
Respect is a good thing.
He's like, the
Okay.
cop's like, I respect you, bro, for not
All
snitching.
right, well,
And if I did something,
Meanwhile, 10
I
months
seen you doing
later,
something
we've
one
already
day,
seen
you know, I
Coyte's
wouldn't tell on
interview.
you. Same with anybody. I'm not gonna go tell on nobody. I don't tell on people.
okay. We're hearing words about people being stabbed.
No. He tried stabbing me. That was the only thing about it all.
Is it possible that maybe things were said to justify what happened? Maybe things were exaggerated?
I think people heard things and then started going off with it.
Okay.
Because I kept hearing, without my name ever being said into it, what was things that was being said on the streets. And I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Let me ask you this. What have you said about it?
I just told Kimmy that she was freaking out in the house. And I told Kimmy that he had a knife. He tried to stab me. He tried to break it into the house. And I hit him. And he laid there. I went back and he was not doing good. Wasn't breathing.
Okay. Did you tell her knife or screwdriver or something
I
else?
told her screwdriver.
You told her screwdriver? That he
Right.
tried to stab you with it?
Right.
Okay. When he was swinging that screwdriver at you, what hand's he holding it in? Left hand, right hand?
I think he was this way, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
So it's
All
not
kinda
it's not
happened.
like this.
No, he was
Like
trying to
this.
shank me. Yeah.
Okay. How many swipes did he take at you with that?
About 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Where I just caught him right at the right moment.
Did he make any contact with you with it, or are you dodging it?
Grazed across my stomach and stuff.
Okay. What were you wearing when that happened?
A red jersey and a shirt underneath it.
Okay. Do you know what time this happened?
He left the bar, so 12 maybe.
When you said we left the bar, are you talking about you and Levi or
Me and Kimmy.
you and Kimmy?
It's right in the bottom.
No, it's not.
Do you know what time you began your interview first when you started talking to Stephen?
I do.
Well, they're doing that, Steve. Let me get swords from you here.
1650.
You ever had this done to you before?
That's at 2440 East St. Louis.
Okay, 1650.
Hey, John, up your mouth all over the sides.
Took DNA when I was in DOC.
Did they?
I've been in prison. I know what happens to people when they tell on people. And I'm going to be doing a lot of time in prison. I'd rather not have any enemies. I'm already going to have enough problems with the Serenials now.
Fair enough.
I don't need the white people after me too. Then I'm just fucked. Might as well just hang myself, you know?
Do we have a nail clipper? Actually, you know what? I mean, we're talking. Could you hit Derek up and ask him if he has an opinion about that?
All right.
What's the nail clippers for?
Sometimes we talk to people about collecting their fingernails.
I do take showers to clean myself up.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about 20 plus days, so it's not like you got snaggle nails or anything, you know?
Right. You know, I even know how cops act, so I know you're gonna try to play it against them, tell them that I said, you know, but hopefully if I ever run into them, I can tell them the truth, you know. I didn't say fucking shit about whoever or anybody. if anybody jams me up, my word's always been good, so hopefully it stays good.
Fair enough.
This
Is
guy,
there anything to mention that I haven't asked you about that's relevant to what happened between you and Levi?
I always thought he was a good person. He was really, I got along with him real well. Smoked pot with him, had some drinks with him.
And he was not at the bar.
No.
When he was saying these things about coming back for Kimmy, coming back for the baby, when did that
It was
happen?
Kimmy and her daughter, that was at the house. It came to the house at the back. To the front was that the wanting me. And
So this is after you guys got back from the bar in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's after midnight. When you get back from the bar, is he there? Okay.
I'm gonna take this stuff. That's cool.
Okay, I was gonna ask real quick, we probably didn't have a consent form going and all that with that. That buckle that just happened to,
I didn't have one.
okay. Was there a conversation about it?
Yeah, earlier.
Okay.
Right here.
Okay, I mean, it's,
No, did you mind me taking your DNA? Is that cool with you, bud?
yeah, so yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to, I mean, that's cool too. It's whatever you want.
I got nothing to hide.
Okay.
okay,
I'm gonna take this out.
that'd be really cool.
All right.
I don't know anything about the pockets or anything like that.
Okay. Do you need something to drink? You cool?
I have one more water, I guess.
Fine.
Thanks, Mo. So when you get back from the bar, is he at Kimmy's house?
He saw us walking through the neighborhood, walking back from the bar.
Okay, what's he saying?
I just asked him what we're doing.
Okay, where'd you encounter him at?
Right by the house, on the street, on East St. Rain,
So he's walking by, riding by.
walking.
Is he alone? Is he with anybody?
And he was alone. Saw him earlier that day. I said he wanted to go drinking with me. I didn't have the money to take him drinking. Kimmy had some money, and she took me out drinking.
Okay,
Can't really take somebody along with someone else's money, you know what I mean?
sure, I'm with you.
So he's, what are you guys doing? We come back, we stopped and already had some bottle with us that we had stashed.
Mhm.
We went to the bar and come in and have a drink right quick. He had a couple of drinks and he left. And, well, before he left, he was getting to be really weird,
This is after midnight.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the house. He was getting real weird and saying stupid shit and being kind of disrespectful. I told him, you gotta leave, man.
What's he saying specifically?
Calling people honking Peckerwood. I don't even know why he was saying that shit to me like that, but winking at the girls, and we were trying to play darts, and me and Kimmy were talking sexual to each other, and he tells her that not if I stick my dick in you first, shit like that. And I was like, you gotta go, man. That's out of the line,
Where's a dartboard in the house?
The time it's in the hallway now. At the time it was in her bedroom. We've moved it around a few times.
And I said, baby, for some reason I had it in my head that someone said he said something about the baby. You're saying he never said anything
Oh, he
about
said he's gonna come back and get Kimmy, Kayla, and get them. And then if the baby's in the way, he'll get her too.
Okay. And he says all this over the course of this dart game, the flirt.
No, after I told him to leave, I was walking him out the door.
Okay.
He tells me that.
How's that going? Is he cooperating with you going out the door, or is it more of a toss out the door? Or
Well,
tell me about it.
I was up on him, you need to leave now.
Okay. Was he basically leaving?
Yeah, he was basically leaving.
And what's he saying?
That's what he was saying. I'm coming back. I'll get those girls.
Okay.
And
Who else saw that happen?
Kimmy saw some of it. I don't know if anybody else saw it or not. Who else saw it?
Okay. How long is he gone?
20, 30 minutes maybe a little longer, maybe an hour.
Did he have a screwdriver or a piece on him at that point, or do you know? Or
He had a screwdriver on him at the house. Kimmy says
how do you know that he had a screwdriver on him?
I see it poking out of the back of his shirt. Kimmy says she saw razor blades in his mouth.
That's something you're familiar with him doing?
That's a DOC thing.
Mm-hmm.
They all hold.
Thank you, my friend.
They'll hold razor blades in their mouth to, to get through stuff.
So Kimmy says she saw it.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No,
That
I
night?
didn't know. I didn't pay attention like that.
Okay. And when you said the screwdriver's hanging out of his shirt,
Like when you're standing down, you get a little bulge.
okay.
And then you stick something in your back pocket, like his flashlight, something bulges
Sure.
out. It's like tell someone bulging out.
So consistent with the screwdriver or some kind of object of that nature in his
Right.
pocket?
He always carries something like that with him.
Okay.
Always.
On that night, other than seeing the bulge, seeing what looks something like that shape and size, did you actually see the screwdriver at that time?
Not at that time, no.
Okay, but there's something in his pocket.
Right.
Right or left pocket, or
Maybe right pocket, I'm not sure.
is he saying anything about it, or
Didn't say nothing about the screwdriver, really.
okay, is he saying anything about whatever might be in his mouth?
No. Kimmy saw him when he was talking to her.
Okay. Do you have any opinion that he had anything in his mouth other than what Kimmy said to you?
No. She wouldn't lie, She was. I could tell she was freaked out. She didn't tell me what he said to her right at the moment until after I told him to leave.
Where were you when he made these comments to her?
Taking a piss.
Okay, and where were they?
In the room where the dartboard was at.
Which is Kimmy's bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay, which is on the main floor?
Right.
Okay, how many bedrooms are on the main floor?
2.
Okay. So when you have him go, is he out the front door, out the back door?
Back door.
Okay, and he's going, but he's talking shit.
Yeah, he said that as soon as he was outside, and I shut the door.
Okay.
I think it was probably about an hour later because we were actually getting ready. They were getting ready to leave, and we were getting ready to go to bed.
Who was getting ready to leave?
The people.
Okay. More than one person?
Some girl and him. Some girl and some. And we were, I heard something, and because we were watching TV, stuff, and the lights were off in the living room and stuff, and we were in there playing darts and stuff, getting ready, finishing up the game and stuff. And I hear something. I'm like, what the hell is that? I go out there and I see him at the freaking door, with the screwdriver.
Where do you make this observation from? Through a window or from the outside, or
Sliding by the sliding glass door.
okay. Sliding glass door on the back of the house, side of the house?
Side of the house.
Okay.
When I walked around, it's 2 curtains, and the way it was pulled aside, I could see someone there. It wasn't shut all the way; it was open some.
The curtain was?
Yeah, because I slid it open when I, asked him to leave, and I never closed it all the way. I could see something back there.
When you asked him to leave, you asked him to leave out the sliding glass door or out the front door?
Out the back door. That's where he wanted to go.
Okay. To the alley?
Yeah, because that's where he had to go to get to his place.
Okay.
Let's do the alley.
So the sliding glass door is the back door?
Yeah.
Okay, on the main level of the house?
Yeah.
Are there any doors out of the bottom level of the house?
No.
Okay. Are windows down there?
Yeah.
Okay. Are big enough to go through, or are they just small
Yeah.
windows?
Big enough to go through, but you kind of got to work at go down into a well or,
Okay. All right. So he's gone about an hour. You're watching TV. People are getting ready to leave.
Well, no, we're in the playing darts in the bedroom.
This is after you.
We were watching TV and all that, because we were playing darts and we were saying all that, and then we're watching TV a little bit, talking, and then
Watching
we told
TV
her.
in the bedroom?
In the living room. Then,
In the living room?
yeah, because she was nervous about something. She wouldn't tell me at the time, so she didn't want to play darts no more.
Okay.
So we all went out into the living room, and we're just sitting there bullshitting. And that's when he was, honkies and being kind of disrespectful, and then that's when Kimmy told me that what he said, and he's like, I said that, I'll come and get her. If I get my dick in her first, I'll make her mine. I was like, that's dead, out the fucking door, dude.
Okay.
So that's
Was there a fight at that time?
No.
Okay.
I thought I liked the guy. I figured he was just drunk and talking out the side of his neck,
Sure.
So I asked him to leave, and he kept talking shit. I was like, whatever. But he did. He came back and he tried to break into the house.
Okay. And he's trying to break in the sliding glass door.
Yeah.
Okay. And you heard that happening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone else hear that happening?
Kim was like, what was that?
Okay. So when you see him at that point, has he opened the door or anything like that, or he's out there making noise? Or
Close to it. He had it to where I grabbed it and pulled it and it came open.
The sliding glass door.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens then?
I said, what the fuck are you doing? And he had that in his hand and stuff, and he's all, I told you. You know, I was like, get the fuck out of here. And he's backing down the steps, and he took a swing at me with that blade a couple times, or the screwdriver a couple times, and he scraped my stomach, and I just hit him.
Okay. The one punch.
Yeah.
You're-
And you can check my record, too. I put a guy in a coma and hit him one time. They thought I hit him with a baseball bat, and it was just a punch.
That was probably not a
That's a
good
pretty
thing to
hard
say
punch.
right there, bro.
And when you gave aid to him, is that right away?
No, I thought I just knocked him out.
Okay, so you
I went back in the house and was talking to Kimmy. She was freaked out, you know. Go back outside, and he's not there over there, and there's blood everywhere. Like, what the fuck?
did he bleed at all inside the house? Did he ever come inside the house after he was bleeding?
No.
If there's blood in the house, why is it there?
Shouldn't there be no blood in the house?
Okay. And where are your clothes at from that night? You told me that you thought you might have been wearing those.
I'm pretty positive I was wearing these with long johns underneath.
Okay. And what about boots?
I got rid of them.
Got his favorite
Tell me
pair
about
of
that.
shoes, or got his favorite pair of
I got
shorts
rid of
on.
them. They had a little bit of blood splattered on them.
Okay. These are the same boots you were wearing when you. Come on in.
Just get you ready to go. I gotta get you to sign your money receipt. And do you have a ring on?
That's the way. Yeah.
Can you take that off?
I can't keep it on.
They're gonna have you take it off
They've let me have them on before.
well, let me see. I'll let you keep it on, but because it's the deputies may not let you keep it on.
Okay.
Different deputies over there are different, so I'll just say you're wearing that. And if they tell you to take it off over there, then
Dude, they're
I
gonna
just need
take
you
your
to sign
ring,
that
bro.
just says that you came in.
They're gonna take your
with
ring.
$90. You're going in with $90.
If you're just joining, this is Steve Henson. I think his name is. He's
Can I get that piece of paper so when I go into there I have that phone number?
The one where Derek had wrote the numbers down.
Mhm.
Do you know where it was last name? Does Moke still have it probably?
Yes, he does.
I'll ask
He does.
I'll ask him.
And when I make one more phone call before I leave on there, just to try to make sure I get my stuff. I got a lot of money still over there. I need that money back.
My guess would be that Derek talked to whoever was doing the scene and they set that aside and collected it as evidence separately, but we'll verify that
Well, I mean, evidence does that mean you keep it?
for the
Or-
time being.
Or do I get it? It's jail.
If we took it as evidence, that's the only way we can take it out of the house at that stage in the game. But I'll talk to Derek and see what happened with it. If they've made arrangements already, maybe those items are here, but we'll figure it out. Okay. If we do, we'll add it to your property list. If we don't, then we'll get it released another way to the extent that we can. Okay. So he's at the back door. You open it up. You give him the what the fuck. He says, I told you. He swipes at you with the screwdriver.
Sorry, one last thing. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is just the property you're going in with.
Ronnie, do we know if Rick collected anything, a wallet for him from the scene? And if so, where it's at?
I'll ask Rick.
I appreciate it.
I'll ask
I didn't put my pants down or my jacket on any of these.
We're collecting all
They're
that.
collecting that. I'll get you an answer.
He swiped at me and I jumped off and hit him in the face and his head just snapped back.
Okay. Did he go down immediately?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How close was he to the steps when he went down?
Like, pretty close. Probably that far apart. When he was laying on the ground, his feet were probably that far apart from the steps.
Did he go down on his back?
Yep, straight on his back. I mean, just straight fell like a
And
tree.
no blood at that time?
There was a little bit of blood
From where?
from his face.
Okay. Nose, eyes, mouth, or do you know?
Both nose and mouth.
How long did you stay out there with him after this punch?
Not very long. I was
Minutes?
just pissed. I just wanted to walk. Yeah. I walked back in the house, was pacing, and went
I
back
mean, are you
out.
saying anything to him, or
Like, you fucking idiot. You know?
okay? Loud, soft?
I was just like, fucking idiot, like that.
Okay. And at this point, you're just assuming he's knocked out?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth again, I'm just
Right.
I'm
Yeah, no.
stating my understanding, and if it's
What
not
I
correct,
thought,
set me
was
straight.
probably knocked out.
Okay. Okay, so then you're back in the house?
I came back out and he was in the alley.
Okay. As far as you're concerned, how many injuries does he have?
I don't know.
What's your opinion, how many injuries he has as a result of what happened between you and him?
Should just be his face, maybe his neck. His neck wet back pretty fast, pretty hard.
Okay. Do you know anything about him being stabbed?
No.
Do you know anything about anyone else taking a swing at him, hitting him with something, poking him with his own screwdriver, perhaps?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. Was he ever in the house bleeding?
No.
Okay. Was he ever in the house after you escorted him out that first time?
What do you mean?
When
Did he
you
come
told him it was
back to the
time
house?
to go?
No. He
Okay.
didn't come back in again.
All right. So after he's down from the outside, he goes into the car?
Huh?
From the outside, after he's down, after you discover him across the alley,
In the alley, right.
he goes into the car.
Mhm.
Who puts him in the car?
Me.
Okay. And you put him in the back seat,
Mhm.
and you cover him with a blanket.
Covered him with the blanket before I put him in the back seat.
Okay. Do you remember the color of that blanket?
No.
You remember if it had any patterns on it?
I can't remember.
Okay. Remember if it was one color or don't know?
I think it was one color. I'm not sure.
Okay. Full size blanket or?
I don't know.
Okay. Like, are we talking big comforter? Like a king size bed comforter, or was it
No,
not
it's
that
just
much?
a blanket.
Okay. From there, where do you go once he's in the car?
Drove off.
Okay. That's essentially the same way we went past the zoo. I know we kind of took a different way, but
Kind of, I think so, yeah.
past the zoo up that road. Some people call it Gold Camp. Some people call it Old Stage. What do you call that road?
Old stage, what I always thought it was.
Okay. And then we went to those areas that you showed us, and what I remember you describing is got him down the hill, kind of, you went down with him, took him deeper into some trees, and this is all going downhill, downhill, downhill until you're satisfied that he's somewhere where he's not going to be easily discovered. That happens in the dark. Okay. You did not have a flashlight? Did you have any kind of light source?
Sun, the moonlight.
Okay. Do you know about what time it is at this point?
No, I have not a clue.
Sun's still down though, or sun's
Oh,
not
yeah,
yet
yeah.
up?
Sun's not starting to come up yet.
Okay. When you guys got turned around, got stuck, this is after Levi's dropped off.
We got stuck twice, got ourselves out twice, and then we got stuck the third time we couldn't get ourselves out.
Okay, how'd you get yourselves out? Hand dig or push or?
I like find twig branches and stuff and move snow out with it and jam them up underneath the tires.
And this happens after Levi's let go?
Mhm.
Okay. And did you cover Levi with anything? Okay. And he's got no clothes on?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Shoes?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And when we were talking earlier, you said that when you came back out, his shoes and jacket were gone? So when you initially have the encounter with him, he's got shoes and a jacket on. When you come back out and find him across the alley, shoes
were
jacket
gone
were
and
gone.
jacket was on, yes.
Do you have any idea where those items went?
No,
Okay. Have you seen him since then?
no. I thought I was kind of fishing my damn self.
Right on.
I mean, that neighborhood's full of different kinds of gangs and
Okay.
all kinds of stuff.
And that's the Sir 13 jacket that you described to me?
Mhm.
Okay. Help me understand what became of your clothes. Help me understand what became of your clothes, because I'm not clear on that.
I destroyed them. I got rid of them.
Okay. Every stitch or?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So these shorts that you have on now, you were or were not wearing?
I'm not too sure.
Okay.
I was always pretty drunk. Thought I was wearing these ones. I don't know. Because I wasn't that cold out there like I was tonight when I went out there. So I wasn't wearing them. I know everything I had, though. I got destroyed them.
Okay. And how did they get destroyed?
Shoes took them, and they're out. Gone states, and
Say that again, gone.
went to different states.
Okay. What states?
I don't even know. I just said get rid of them, and they got rid of them.
And who did that?
Dude named Chris, or Mike, or something like that.
Chris or Mike?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Mike, the diesel mechanic?
I can't remember who it was. Someone I just met said, "Here you go, get rid of these for me."
Okay. Why do you believe that they're in another state? Did they say, I'm going to take these to another state?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was there ever a point where you tried to burn anything that you have?
I burnt my clothes, my pants, the shirts, and everything I had on.
Where'd you burn them at?
Trash barrel.
Where at?
At down by the park.
Which park?
Like what do you call that place called? Structuron Park.
Okay. In a barrel, like, did someone have a fire going and you come and toss those in, or?
One of those homeless guys have the shit going.
Okay.
I think it was Structuron or MVP, whatever.
MVP. It's over by the soup kitchen. Shook's Run is further away from the soup
Which I
kitchen.
know it was that one.
Shook's Run?
Or MVP because it was by the soup kitchen over in that area
Okay, that's MVP.
where people camp and all that.
All right. So you come off your car gets stuck, you come off the hill, you make a phone call, you get picked up at the McDonald's on A Street. Well, we assume it's McDonald's on A Street. Is the sun up at that point?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Had it been up for a while?
been up for a minute.
Okay. How long did it take you to walk off that mountain?
A long damn time. Let me tell you the very last end of it, I got to ride. The very last end of it.
From
I don't even know where it was from, but
in the neighborhood or on the dirt road?
it was still on the back of that dirt road. But like as soon as we got in, we hit pavement pretty quick into the neighborhood.
What kind of car was that?
Excuse me, blue truck.
Who was driving it?
No, some guy.
Older truck, newer truck,
Older truck.
full size, mid size?
Tiny. Kind of like I don't know, it's a smaller truck.
And what color was it?
I think blue, I believe. Old guy.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay.
I said too much anyways.
Depends on your perspective, I think. Be right back.
What y'all think's going through that dude's head? He knows it's over with. Now he's just going to
Put me in protective custody in there or what?
I'm sorry?
You gonna put me in protective custody in there?
I don't know, man. We can talk to him when we get down there.
about to put him in orange jumpsuit now.
Hate to be that way.
Stand by. You're too anxious for me, man.
He's like, we gotta turn the camera off. Yep.
Ready, though. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So we wouldn't go to bed.
I would like to do that, too.
I'll be in the CJC, I'll be there for another 5-6 hours before I even get anywhere.
I just want to make sure you don't give nothing else up we need to hear. You said spare you? Is that what you said, Rose? I'll spare
Okay,
you.
so he told me that he did make some contact with you with this screwdriver. From it,
Oh, this is where he said,
because all I'm seeing is old scars right now.
This is where we're at.
Okay.
There,
If I get you to
right
toss.
there.
Okay. You can toss your tank in one of these bags. That's coolio.
we'll spare you a little bit. Oh, wait, let's do it this way.
Maybe just come against this wall right here.
There we go. We'll do it this way so you can hear. You should still be able to hear. Oh, but they're not really showing anything. He's not really, you're not seeing him. So you're fine.
And you said you got something there?
They're not showing him, so you're not getting.
Bad picture. Worst picture. That's good. Okay, anything else?
I can remember.
Okay. Let me take a look at your back. Got something right here is probably leaning on the chair. Does that seem right?
No, I should
Just like a red line. It doesn't really, it looks like something would have leaning on the chair. I'm not trying to tell you that's what happened, but
No, it was in the chair.
what do you think it's from?
I'll be fighting with him.
Okay. What specific act? Let me try that again. What specific act might have caused that?
Around against the
He said something about a red
area.
mark. He's
And
trying to
also?
get a picture of a red mark where this guy supposedly
Swinging that
lunged at him with the
around,
screwdriver.
moving away from
Okay. So you're saying that screwdriver made contact with your back?
me. Probably.
He said probably.
There was red in the back.
Okay.
In the front.
And what color was that shirt again?
It was red jersey.
Okay. This particular
Players.
team?
Players.
Just has players on it?
Yeah.
Okay. You got some underwear on or?
Nope.
Oh, it's my lucky day. If you could just drop those in there. X-rated photography, which is actually what I wanted to do for a living, but not dudes. So, could you give me the pleasure of a full-on frontal here for a sec? Thank you, my friend. This is fantastic. Right side, please, or I'm sorry. There you go.
Trying to sell on eBay.
And let me see that money maker. That'd be your ass. Okay. Right on. Look at the bottom legs here. You have any injuries that I'm not seeing? Nothing's jumping out at me.
No.
Not any of the front of your legs also. Just,
Old ones.
no, I'm talking fresh.
Uh,
You got some scars, man.
yeah.
If I could just get a shot of the front of your legs, if you got a fresh injury, point it out to me.
I don't think so.
Okay. Go ahead and throw those on. I'm gonna take pictures of your feet. If you could just face the wall and then show me the bottoms of your foot one at a time. Other foot. And then let me see the front side, please. Just gotta hike up the pants a little bit. I need to get this one again. This kind of whitewash. Okay. Grab that. Unless you've got something that you think I didn't see. Okay. Alrighty.
Oh, Jesus.
It's a slim fit. Very stylish. All right. I'm gonna step across the hall and grab some booties.
I get you something that fits down there better.
I hope so.
Hopefully. We try medium.
Huh?
We try medium.
No. I usually wear like my shirts are 4X.
That's the biggest we had, so it won't be long.
I'm ready to go to a wet t-shirt contest or something.
And don't waste the water on that.
This is the closest that we have to shoes. It's temporary. The good news is, as soon as we're ready to go, your ride's already here.
I'll go smoke one more cigarette on the way to the car, please.
I don't know that we're going to the car just yet. I need to go touch base with Derek and see where he's at. So if you just want to have a seat. I got the,
I understand when we go that way. Maybe let me just puff one more.
let me just find out where everything's at. If it's within my power, I'll try and get you a couple hits. I'm not making any promises. Just do me a favor, stay hanging in that chair. If you need something, knock on the table. I'll be here shortly. Right on? Still have the bottle of water, or you toss it off already?
I slammed it.
Okay.
Thought we were leaving.
Pretty quick, either way.
Woo! And life for this guy changes for the next 29 years. He got 29 years mandatory, 5 years probation. I'm not 100% sure on don't be trying to sneak over here, girl. Not 100% sure on where he's at now. Somebody has sent me some stuff.
What do you got there?
Go.
That's one of the screwdriver thing.
Let me grab my camera, my man.
Or some pretty uncomfortable things in my life, but
You don't like those shoes?
no, bare feet.
You're saying that's from the screwdriver?
Yeah.
Do you know when specifically it happened?
Just in the scope.
So let me get you from here first. Do something so I can readily tell that's a right hand, like go like that. That way I'll know it's a right hand. Otherwise I'll be looking at it thinking, it's the claw or something. Oh, you're fucking me up. Put it flat. There you go. Now I can see it's a thumb. I swear more as the morning progresses. I get loopy. Okay, don't do anything. Just sit there and look pretty. Now I will ask you to lift it up just a little bit more. Right. All right, that's gonna be like the worst picture ever. Make it more like that. Okay. That's a bit of a splash. No, don't do anything. Just chill. Just trying to get it in its true shape. There we go. One more. No, Perfect. Anything else? All right, I'm shutting it down.
Let's go put your hands in front of you right now. Let me try to get you smoke.
I think that's the end of the interview. Hey, thanks for jumping on down with a phone and watching. Oh, let's make sure he doesn't come back. We're going to scan through just to make sure he don't come back. Nope.
I mean,
That was
I
it.
wouldn't even.
So if you're just now joining,
even
yes, you
tell
can
you.
go find your show, girl. If you're just now joining, we just got done watching the post-arrest interview with Steven. Now you can go back and see his pre-arrest interview. You can go back and see Kim's interview. At the beginning of this video, you can see his accomplice, even though his accomplice, all charges were dropped and dismissed. You can go back and see all that. We're going to continue to release. I got more interviews. I got probably 30 more interviews they did. Not 30. I probably got 10 more interviews they did with people. I got 50 plus disc. I got crime scene photos. I got autopsy reports, autopsy photos. We are going to dig into this case. We are just getting started. And that's it. We're out. Thanks for watching Dad with a Phone. It's been good. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that, hit all them social medias at the bottom. If you want to be a listener and you want to support Dad with a Phone, you can support Dad with a Phone at www.paypal.me/watereddownpro. Type that in. It'll give you a link to put some change. It's like a bucket. That's my bucket. I just stuck my cup in front of you. If you want to stick some change in the bucket, you can do that. If you don't, just go like my TikTok, my YouTube, my Twitter, my Facebook, all that stuff. That helps a lot. Go give me a review on Facebook. That always helps. So thanks for joining. We'll talk to you guys.